Chapter 1357. When Yang Wu's voice fell, a ferocious fist broke through the layers of claw shadows. It smashed through the claw shadows with an unstoppable force. The fist was like a dragon's head. It arrived in front of Dao Ba and landed solidly on his chest. Bang! Puff! Dao Ba's chest caved in from the punch. Blood spurted out crazily. His body flew out of the arena like a cannonball. The people at the side of the arena were shocked. Many people dodged. Some people from the Wild Lion Battalion rushed forward to catch Dao Ba. Unfortunately, they were still sent flying by a powerful force. They landed heavily on the ground far away. Dao Ba was already dead. Yang Wu appeared beside him. He carried Dao Ba's corpse back to the arena. "Stop!" The person who had just saved Dao Ba shouted. Yang Wu did not hear him at all. He returned to the arena and searched Dao Ba's body for a while. He stripped Dao Ba naked and took away everything on him. Only this much. What a waste of this young master's strength. Yang Wu kicked Dao Ba's corpse out of the arena and said with disdain. Yang Wu's ruthlessness did not intimidate the others. Instead, it aroused the anger of the Wild Lion Battalion. What a vicious beast! You killed Dao Ba's commander and let him leave in such an undignified manner. You are not human. Go and take revenge for Dao Ba. You must teach him a lesson. Inhumane thing. You robbed Dao Ba's harvest. Those are our Wild Lion Battalion's things. The Wild Lion Battalion people shouted. However, no one dared to challenge Yang Wu. Yang Wu's performance was too strong. Ordinary celestial soldiers did not dare to challenge him. Dao Ba was already an example. Everyone was worried that they would follow in his footsteps. However, there was no lack of experts in the ancient city hall. The Wild Lion Battalion also did not lack hot-blooded people. A soldier with a strong physique walked forward and shouted, "I will kill you." It's Gu Chang. He actually dares to go up and challenge. Does he not want to live anymore? Someone recognized the identity of the soldier, who went up and cried out involuntarily. Gu Chang's strength isn't weak. Compared to Commander Dao Ba, he's still a bit weaker. Why does he dare to go up? Another person asked doubtfully. Yang Wu didn't agree with their words. When he looked at the person who came up, he felt that there was something different about him. The other party's body was bronze in color and was filled with explosive power. He was someone with a strong physique. The man didn't say anything after he came up. He quickly walked towards Yang Wu and raised his fist to attack Yang Wu. "Show me the true way of the fist," Gu Chang said with a look of extreme desire. He was a martial artist who pursued fist Dao. Just now, Yang Wu's overbearing fist energy had made his blood boil. He wanted to have a real fight with Yang Wu. When Gu Chang made his move, everyone felt a powerful aura. It was definitely not something that Dao Ba could compare to. This guy hid his strength very well. He was a celestial soldier who was even stronger than Dao Ba. Yang Wu felt that the other party's fist technique contained the fist Dao. The power was not weak. He didn't hesitate to throw out a punch to meet the attack. Bang! The two fists collided and there was a dull sound. A figure was sent flying. It was Gu Chang, who had just gone up to challenge Yang Wu. His arm was twisted and bleeding. It was obvious that he had been injured by Yang Wu. "I admit defeat." This guy surrendered decisively. Yang Wu was completely stunned when he saw the other party jump off the arena. The other party's punch just now was very strong. It could definitely injure a top saint-level expert. Unfortunately, it was still a little weak in front of him. If the other party was at his peak, he might be even stronger. The other onlookers didn't expect Gu Chang to admit defeat so quickly, but no one dared to say anything. After all, his arm was broken. He was really inferior. However, they all remembered Gu Chang, this number one figure. "I'll kill you." Just as Gu Chang was defeated, someone from the Divine Arrow camp finally stood up. A heavenly soldier wearing battle armor descended from the sky. He held a Zamadeo in his hand. He released a domineering aura, displaying the demeanor of a true heavenly soldier. It's Commander Min Meng. He has returned from outside the battlefield. This is going to be a good show. Commander Min Meng is second only to Commander Zhuo. He has the qualifications to attack the heavenly generals. He will definitely be able to kill Yang Wu. I beg Commander Min Meng to kill this arrogant newcomer. This was a saint-level expert who had reached the 6th level of the Star Rune realm. He was quite popular in the ancient city hall. Min Meng shook his Zamadeo and pointed at Yang Wu. He shouted, "Kneel down and submit to me. I will spare your life." Yang Wu picked his ear and said, "Your fart is really smelly." "What did you say?" "I said your fart is really smelly. It almost made me faint." "How dare you?" Min Meng shouted. He raised his Zamadeo and slashed at Yang Wu. 3 sabers, 6 slashes. 3 shadows of war sabers appeared on the stage, and each of the war sabers used the double chop. Layers upon layers of chi waves blasted towards Yang Wu. The strength of a person at the 6th level of the Star Rune realm was very threatening. Mi Jiaya was also at this level. As long as one could cross this level, they could become a heavenly general. This was the dividing line. Yang Wu's body swayed left and right in the face of this saber strike, narrowly avoiding the other party's attack. Min Meng wasn't someone Dao Ba could compare to. After he attacked, he didn't stop. Instead, he used his full strength. The extremely domineering attack made the people around him feel suffocated. Raising the horse and parting the waist. Buddha blood slash. Who could block Min Meng's impenetrable attack? The stage was filled with countless saber lights. Moreover, they contained the saber Dao. He was definitely an expert who could fight against a heavenly general. The people in the Empress Battalion started to worry. Would Yang Wu be able to withstand it? Now, Yang Wu had only recovered the strength of the heavenly fish realm. He couldn't deal with any of the heavenly soldiers here with the strength of his celestial chi realm. However, he had the great success of the saint physique. He could break through all techniques. Yang Wu didn't do that. He was afraid that no one would come up to challenge him. Therefore, he decided to fight an evenly matched battle with his opponent. Yang Wu took out the double-blade triple dragon spear and used the Luo water spear technique to fight with his opponent. Spear after spear, he blocked Min Meng's attacks. Furthermore, he even used the black tortoise's Dao and was evenly matched with his opponent. The battle chi that Yang Wu released wasn't strong. He used the strength of his body to block Min Meng's attacks. Others felt that he was different. He was a great success in body refinement. Otherwise, how could he do this without the support of his celestial chi? Even if he was born with divine strength, it wouldn't be so abnormal. It's time to end this. Min Meng had fought Yang Wu for a long time. He shouted inwardly, and suddenly spat out a ray of light from his mouth, which slashed towards Yang Wu's face. No one expected Min Meng to have an innate attack. It was similar to Ziyue's Thunder Tongue sword, while Min Meng's was like a hidden arrow weapon. It was extremely fast, and within a short distance no one could defend against it. Yang Wu's reaction was extremely fast, but he was still half a beat slower. The moment he dodged, his cheek was slashed. Blood flowed down his cheek. Min Meng didn't expect Yang Wu to be able to dodge, but he wasn't discouraged. His Zamadeo slashed horizontally at Yang Wu's waist. He wanted to cut Yang Wu in half. Yang Wu frantically retreated, but his abdomen was still cut. His clothes were torn, and there was a mark on his abdomen. However, no blood flowed out. An ordinary saint physique wasn't enough to hurt his great success saint physique. Kill! Min Meng's eyes turned red. He roared and continuously spat out arrows. Yang Wu was forced to dodge in a sorry state. Min Meng could still divide his attention and slash wildly with his Zamadeo. Yang Wu held his battle spear and retreated. When the opponent attacked again, he used the Tai Chi Dao. The battle spear spun and continuously blocked Min Meng's attack. He also used a counterattack. The soft energy continuously bounced off Min Meng's attack. Min Meng was still unable to attack. Min Meng was slightly anxious. He had even used his forbidden technique. His aura was rising steadily. The Zamadeo in his hand had an additional demonic aura. He raised the Zamadeo and slashed out again. The terrifying killing move caused everyone's expression to change abruptly. Sky Demon Sword Slash. Min Meng wasn't a demon, but the sword skill he cultivated was a demon skill. It was a real divine skill. It was the ultimate move he obtained in the Divine Firmament battlefield. One slash could split the sky and earth. Commander Wu, be careful. The female soldiers of the Princess Battalion shouted anxiously. It's time to end it. The soldiers of the other battalions sighed in their hearts. Yang Wu could indeed be proud of being able to force Min Meng to use such a killing move. Just as Min Meng was about to kill Yang Wu Ru transformed into a roaming dragon. Together with the power of the saberlight, he stabbed towards Min Meng. Yang Wu and the spear had become one. He had reached the realm of becoming one with the world. His attack wasn't as domineering as Min Meng's, but it was still very stunning. The spear was like a snake's tongue. It directly pierced Min Meng's throat and killed him on the spot. After stabbing with the spear, Yang Wu's body fell. His body was also bleeding. Obviously, he was also injured by Min Meng's attack. The scene was silent. They were all dumbfounded. Min Meng's power was clearly much stronger than Yang Wu's. Why was Min Meng the one who died in the end? They were all very insightful people. They felt that Yang Wu must have been holding back and found Min Meng's flaw. Then, he seized the opportunity to kill Min Meng with one strike. It was also because Yang Wu's combat power was comparable to Min Meng's that he could seize this opportunity. Min Meng's death was a little unjust. He won. Commander Wu won. The people of the Princess Battalion cheered. Mi Jia also smiled. Yes, he won. He's really powerful. Mi Jia might not be able to kill Min Meng. At most, she could gain the upper hand. Yang Wu's spear attack was too beautiful. Not only did it contain the spear Dao, but it was also completely compatible with the battle spear. He had reached the realm of becoming one with the spear. Only then could he unleash such a powerful force. Yang Wu bounced up from the ground. Once again, he looted everything on Min Meng's body. He threw Min Meng's corpse out of the arena. Panting, he stabbed the battle spear into the arena and shouted, "Who else wants to die?" This voice was soul-stirring and domineering. It was like the roar of a king. It shocked the entire battlefield. Chapter 1358. Yang Wu won 3 rounds in a row, but he began to show signs of fatigue in the 3rd round. Moreover, he was injured, which gave the soldiers hope to take him down. Now, Yang Wu had already obtained the resources of 2 celestial soldiers. Whoever killed him could obtain more resources. In this way, it was still very tempting. The soldiers of the Empress Battalion tried to persuade Yang Wu to leave the arena, but Yang Wu did not listen at all. He insisted on having his own way. Weren't you shouting very happily? You have guts for bullying women. Now you don't have the guts to come up and fight with me? I feel ashamed for your parents. You bastards wanted to kill our people, but we robbed you instead. You still have the face to talk about it here. You have really lost the prestige of your battalion. If you don't have the guts, then get lost. You are worse than the people of the Empress Battalion. I allow you to come up together. However many of you come, I will kill all of you together. Yang Wu's words incited the anger of the soldiers of the Wild Lion Battalion and the Divine Arrow Battalion. Finally, someone jumped into the arena. As a result, that person was defeated by Yang Wu in just one move. Then, 3 people jumped into the arena at the same time. They could only do so because they had Yang Wu's permission. The 3 of them joined forces to take down Yang Wu, but they were still killed mercilessly by Yang Wu. Yang Wu was too ferocious. Whether it was a one-on-one fight or a group fight, he did not care. He had the aura of a man who could hold back 10,000 people. These people could not give him too much pressure, no matter how many of them came up. 50 people of the Wild Lion Battalion and the Divine Arrow Battalion came up together. They stood at each corner of the arena and attacked Yang Wu at the same time. They planned to kill Yang Wu with their combined strength. In the end, Yang Wu used both his spear and sword to kill all 50 of them. Yang Wu displayed an unstoppable attack. He was like a human-shaped dragon. No one could stop him. Screams sounded one after another. Soon, there were broken limbs all over the ground. Blood dyed every corner of the arena red. Everyone was shocked. Only then did they realize that Yang Wu hadn't used his full strength at all and had been holding back all along. After Yang Wu picked these 50 people, the Wild Lion Battalion and the Divine Arrow Battalion felt a chill run down their spines. No one dared to challenge him. Even Zhuoxilai, who had been shouting happily just now, was slowly retreating, intending to leave this place. Yang Wu stared at him, pointed at the spear and shouted, "Hey you, haven't you always liked to hop around? Hurry up and come up here to die." Being pointed at by Yang Wu, Zhuoxilai stiffened his neck and shouted, "I don't take advantage of others." When he said this, his face turned hot. "Gutless man," Fei Qing shouted in disdain. The people of the Empress Battalion also shouted, "Cowardly man." Zhuoxilai was so angry that he almost jumped into the ring. However, when he saw Yang Wu's calm eyes, he suppressed this impulse. "Don't be arrogant. You will suffer retribution." Zhuoxilai shouted and turned around, intending to leave. "You've been forced to this point by others. You've brought shame to our Divine Arrow Battalion. Why don't you go up and fight him?" A loud and clear voice shouted. A few people came together. They were wearing exquisite armor, and the aura they released was very different. They had all reached the high-level saint realm, which meant they were the heavenly generals of the ancient city. In the ancient city there were only 4 kinds of people. They were the ordinary soldiers, then the heavenly soldiers, and then the heavenly generals. Above the heavenly generals were the heavenly kings. There were very few heavenly kings and not many heavenly generals. Each heavenly general represented extraordinary fighting strength. The people who came together were all heavenly generals. The one who had just spoken was Heavenly General Yu Go from the Divine Arrow Battalion. Beside him were Heavenly General Wen Chongqiao from the Wild Lion Battalion, Heavenly General Dongfang Chen from the Heavenly Sword Battalion, and Sang Chenxiang from the Blood Blade Battalion. People who had reached the Heavenly General level would go out to do missions together. They rarely led soldiers out together. At this level, soldier-level soldiers were just burdens. "Lord Yu." Zhuoxilai hurriedly bowed when he saw the people who came. The people from the surrounding battalions also bowed slightly to these people. Heavenly generals deserved to be treated with respect. "Go up and accept the challenge," Yu Go said in a deep voice. After a pause, he added, "If you die, I'll go up and take revenge for you." Zhuoxilai revealed a troubled expression and said, "Min Meng, he." Without waiting for him to finish, Yu Go shouted again, "If you don't go up, I'll kill you right now." "Yes, Lord." Zhuoxilai had no choice but to bite the bullet and rush up to the stage to challenge Yang Wu. "Come, I'll fight you to the death," Zhuoxilai shouted. Multicolored light floated around his body. His aura condensed into boundless arrows, and many of them shot towards Yang Wu. Arrow Chi Field. Zhuoxilai used his ultimate move as soon as he came up. He didn't expect to kill Yang Wu, but it was enough to interfere with Yang Wu. Then, he took out an ancient bow and spat a mouthful of blood on the bow. He shouted, "Drink my blood arrow!" Zhuoxilai gathered all his spiritual energy on this arrow. When the arrow was shot, the sun and the moon lost their color. It was as if even they could be shot out. This arrow was too overbearing. It was even more powerful than the demonic blade slash that Min Meng forced out. It was impossible for the target to be locked on to because it was everywhere. Yang Wu didn't escape at all. The power of this arrow wasn't weak, but it wasn't enough for him. It was only comparable to the power of a high-level saint. He wasn't afraid at all. He directly stretched out a hand and caught the arrow in his hand. The power of the arrow was crushed by him. "Here's to you." After grabbing the blood arrow, Yang Wu shouted and threw the blood arrow back. Zwashilai couldn't escape. The blood arrow pierced through his heart. He fell down unwillingly. The scene was silent. Another top celestial soldier had fallen. Yugo looked at Zwashilai, who was forced to die, and shouted at Yang Wu with a face full of anger, "How dare you kill the people of my divine arrow battalion? You really don't know how to write the word death." "I really don't know. Why don't you come up and teach me?" Yang Wu replied contemptuously. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, feeling that Yang Wu's courage was too big. He even dared to challenge a celestial soldier. Was there anything he didn't dare to do? Mi Jia and the others didn't know what to say. Yang Wu's strength was beyond their expectations. The environment here was special. All the realms of living beings were reduced to nothingness. They had to cultivate again. The celestial chi power that Yang Wu displayed was indeed not weak, but the brute force that he unleashed was too strong. They couldn't believe that he could compete with a celestial soldier with just brute force. Perhaps he had some big secret. Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? "I'll fulfill your wish." Yugo responded and was about to rush into the arena. "Brother Yu, don't be impulsive. He's also a celestial soldier. There's no need to hurt our friendship over something like this," Dongfang Chen advised. When Chongqiao said from the side, "He's already picked on him. This can't be tolerated. If he's willing to admit his mistake, there may be room for negotiation," Sang Chenxiang said. "I'll give him a chance. Let's see if he knows how to cherish it." Yugo responded and went to the arena. He shouted at Yang Wu, "Report your name and join my divine arrow battalion. You can become a commander and obtain a certain amount of resources. This matter will be written off. If you don't want to, this day next year will be your death anniversary." "So much nonsense. Come up and die. Let me see how strong a celestial soldier is." Yang Wu responded. "I can't stand you anymore." Yugo exploded and rushed out of the arena. Yugo held two hooks and attacked Yang Wu. The combat power of a high-level saint was much stronger than that of a mid-level saint. The fact that Yugo could recover to this point proved that his cultivation talent was amazing. His combat power was excellent. Those people just now couldn't compare to him. The hooks hung down and instantly cut through space. The aura of the void filled the air. Yang Wu raised his spear to block. The spear kept moving, blocking Yugo's attack. "I'll kill you!" Yugo shouted again. He swung his hooks again and again, like a scythe harvesting a human head. They formed a crisscrossing net of hooks. Every hook mark was sharp enough to cut through metal and stone. Yugo didn't even get close to Yang Wu. He planned to use his celestial chi to force Yang Wu to death. Yang Wu could only defend. If he wanted to attack, his opponent would have to break through this net of hooks to do so. He could use his physical strength to force Yugo to face him, but he didn't plan to do so. He had to win this battle beautifully and win his position in Ancient City's palace. It would save him from future trouble and the trouble of the Empress Battalion being harassed. "A whetstone sent to me. I'll let you see the power of my magnetic sword finger." Yang Wu raised his middle finger, and a sharp sword chi rushed out. A dazzling light blinded everyone's eyes. The sword finger waved, and light shot out in all directions. Ding dang ding dang. The power of the net of hooks was disintegrated by the sword finger. It was completely useless. "What?" Yugo cried out in surprise. The people on the sidelines were also shocked. What kind of power did Yang Wu have? He could actually break through Yugo's attack. Primordial magnetic force. Someone with better eyesight cried out. There were magnetic pits in the desert plain. Countless people wanted to collect magnetic light for their own use, but only a few people were lucky enough to obtain them. Yang Wu had just arrived at the battlefield, and he had already obtained magnetic light. It was really hard for others to believe. They also wondered if this was Yang Wu's innate ability. Hugo didn't panic because of this. He didn't become a celestial general just because he was hot-blooded. His innate ability was also extraordinary. When Yang Wu charged over, something flew out from his yin and yang ring. Tortoise Mountain Seal. This was a huge seal. After injecting power, it was like a huge tortoise mountain that pressed down on Yang Wu. This wasn't an ordinary seal, but a seal that had reached the half-step to heaven ascension level. Its power was incomparably shocking. Innate hook arrow. Hugo also used his innate ability. A burst of power burst out from his body, forming an arrow that shot towards Yang Wu's vital point with lightning speed. I don't believe that this can't kill you, Hugo shouted confidently. Chapter 1359. This was the first time Yang Wu was facing a half-step immortal ascension warrior since he came to the divine firmament battlefield. It was not that the others did not have such a weapon, but that they were not strong enough to use such a weapon. Thus, some people were unable to use such a powerful weapon. Hugo had reached the high-level sage stage, and he could use a portion of a half-step immortal ascension warrior's power. The damage he could cause was enough to kill a peak-level sage. Yang Wu did not panic in the face of the double attack. He raised his middle finger with his other hand, and another magnetic sword finger appeared. At the same time, he slashed out. One sword finger slashed the mountain seal, while the other slashed the hook arrow. The magnetic sword finger's power was fully displayed. A crack appeared on the mountain tortoise, and it was sent flying. Meanwhile, the hook arrow shattered upon contact with the magnetic sword finger. Without waiting for Hugo to recover, Yang Wu charged toward him like a lion hunting its prey. He used two fingers as a sword and slashed at Hugo at the same time. Hugo was scared out of his wits. A divine shield appeared above his head, blocking Yang Wu's fatal attack. However, he was still sent flying by Yang Wu. You have a lot of trump cards, but they can't protect you. Yang Wu was determined to use Hugo to establish his dominance. He roared and kept waving his fingers. Magnetic sword chi was everywhere, forcing Hugo to hide behind the divine shield. He did not dare to come out. Just as Yang Wu was about to kill Hugo, he shouted, "I surrender! I surrender! Stop!" Hugo was in despair. Just a moment ago, he had vowed to kill Yang Wu, but now, he was forced to surrender without any strength to fight back. Yang Wu could have killed Hugo, but unfortunately, he had surrendered. He could not kill him anymore. Hugo dejectedly rolled down the stage, fearing that he would be killed by Yang Wu if he was slow. Everyone was dumbfounded. Who would have thought that Yang Wu would be so powerful? He had only been here for 3 months, and he had already defeated a divine general. Hugo was not even a match for him. This kind of ability could only be achieved by the leaders of each generation. This also meant that Yang Wu had the potential to become a leader. It wouldn't be long before he became a powerful leader. Thinking of this, the way everyone looked at Yang Wu changed. Especially the female soldiers of the Empress Battalion, they couldn't wait to throw themselves into Yang Wu's arms and make love to him. The strong and handsome man was too charming. In the future, whoever dares to bully the Empress Battalion will be bullying me, Yang Wu. I hope everyone will think twice about it. After Yang Wu said those harsh words, he was finally willing to walk down from the ring. His physical strength was limitless, so he wasn't afraid of a drawn-out battle. No one could compare to him. Mijaya and a group of female soldiers went up to him and cheered as if he was a hero. "Commander Wu, you're amazing! Commander Wu, you're too handsome. I really want to marry you. I want to have a baby with Commander Wu." The true nature of these female soldiers was exposed. "Don't make a fuss. Let's talk when we return to the camp," Mijaya said. "Don't be in such a hurry. I still have something to do." Yang Wu responded and walked towards Lao Shu, who was hiding behind the crowd. When Lao Shu saw Yang Wu walking towards him, his face turned pale with fright. He wanted to turn around and run. If you dare to run, don't think about leaving the ancient city for the rest of your life. Yang Wu threatened. Lao Shu stopped and said, "What are you doing? You can't act recklessly in the city. Hand over the black mist pearls and I'll let this matter go." Yang Wu coldly looked at Lao Shu and said. Lao Shu looked at Yang Wu and the word, "no," that was about to come out of his mouth was swallowed back. He obediently returned the 3 black mist pearls to Yang Wu. "Good boy. There are some things that you can't touch." Yang Wu responded with satisfaction. After saying that, he slapped Lao Shu and sent him flying. Yang Wu didn't kill Lao Shu. No one dared to criticize Yang Wu's insolence. He was too powerful. Fei Qing and Fei Ye were greatly moved. Yang Wu's action was too satisfying. All the female soldiers smiled and prepared to return to the camp with Yang Wu. Unexpectedly, Dongfang Chen walked towards Yang Wu, which immediately made them nervous and quiet. "You went to the magnetic pit not long ago?" Dongfang Chen looked at Yang Wu and asked. Yang Wu looked at the other party and nodded. "Yes, I have. I even saw you obtain a beam of origin magnetic light." Dongfang Chen was stunned. Almost no one knew that he obtained the magnetic ray. Those who knew died in front of the magnetic pit. Who knew that the young man in front of him would directly expose his secret, making him feel like he was talking in front of someone naked. All the sense of mystery disappeared. "If there's nothing else, I'm leaving," Yang Wu said again, preparing to walk past Dongfang Chen. "I'll find you later." Dongfang Chen felt that he couldn't continue the conversation and could only let him leave first. He was afraid that the young man would know more of his secret. If it were someone else, he would kill him with a sword. However, the young man was a heavenly general-level powerhouse who had the same magnetic ray as him. He didn't dare to act recklessly. In this way, Yang Wu returned to the Empress Battalion, surrounded by many female soldiers. What happened here swept through the ancient city like a storm. Everyone in the battalion knew about the existence of a new heavenly general-level powerhouse, Yang Wu. In the future, no one would dare to provoke Yang Wu wherever he appeared. Those who had designs on the Empress Battalion would have to restrain themselves and not be presumptuous anymore. That night, the Empress Battalion was completely wild. All the female soldiers gathered around a bonfire, singing and dancing. The atmosphere was joyous. It had been a long time since the Empress Battalion was so lively and happy. As the only man in the Empress Battalion, Yang Wu was treated with the highest courtesy. Many female soldiers winked at him and blew him kisses, which made him very embarrassed. Some dared to striptease in front of him, twisting their bodies around him like snakes and caressing his face with their delicate hand. He was about to explode. Yang Wu suppressed his anger and drank a few mouthfuls of wine. He silently chanted the mind-calming mantra to calm the lust in his heart. All of a sudden, an even louder cheer rang out. "Commander Mi is so beautiful! Fairy, she's really a fairy. Come and play a song for us. Commander Mi's music is unparalleled. We're lucky tonight." Could it be that Commander Mi also has feelings for Commander Wu? Wow, I'm so jealous. Mi Jiaya descended from the sky. Her clothes were as white as snow, and she looked like a fairy descending in the night. She held a guqin horizontally in front of her. Her 2 fingers were like scallions, and a burst of melodious guqin music rang out. Immediately, it was intoxicating. Her guqin skills were indeed extraordinary. She had already entered the guqin Dao. The sound of the music lingered in the air, and her singing was loud and clear. Yang Wu was also a bit mesmerized. Mijaya was already a top-notch beauty. Tonight, she had taken off her armor and put on a white dress. She had put on some light makeup, which made her look even more elegant and refined. With such talent, it was indeed a feast for the eyes. Mi Jia played the guqin and looked directly at Yang Wu's direction. Her beautiful eyes were filled with deep affection. It was unknown whether it was because Yang Wu's performance today or because she had suppressed her feelings for many years after coming to the battlefield. In short, she became particularly different tonight. She was particularly moving and seductive, which made people's imagination run wild. Mi Jaya played 3 songs in a row, each more moving than the last. They were all tunes full of love. Everyone could hear the hidden meaning in the songs. After the music ended, everyone crowded around Mi Jaya to Yang Wu. Yang Wu stood up and raised his wine glass. "You're really beautiful. You play very well too. Let me toast you." After speaking, Yang Wu raised his head and drank a glass of wine. "Commander Wu, how can one glass be enough? Commander Mi played especially for you. You need at least 3 glasses. Someone jeered. Yes, it's best to drink cross-cupped wine with Commander Mi ha. Another person said. Don't mess around. I'm just grateful for what Commander Wu has done for our Empress Battalion. Mi Jaya blinked her beautiful eyes and said sincerely. We're all on the same side. No need to be polite. Yang Wu responded and drank 2 more glasses. A total of 3 glasses was a toast. Good alcohol tolerance. I'll drink with you too. Mi Jaya said. When Mi Jaya sat down, Fei Qing and Fei Ya also came over to toast Yang Wu. Commander Wu, we sisters are your people from now on, Fei Qing said heroically. When Yang Wu heard this, he almost spat out the wine he just drank. He hurriedly waved his hand and said, Fei Qing, don't talk nonsense. We're innocent. Haha, of course we're innocent. If Commander Wu doesn't want to be innocent, we're willing. Fei Qing laughed. Fei Ya also said, if Commander Wu didn't stand up for me today, I would have died. Fei Ya will never forget Commander Wu's kindness. The 2 sisters drank a large bowl of wine at the same time. Their gratitude was expressed here. Yang Wu had no choice but to accompany them and drink a large bowl of wine. The burning sensation of the wine stimulated his nerve. He also became excited and joined the ranks of the singing and dancing. Ever since he was inexplicably sent to this battlefield, Yang Wu's mood was not very good. He thought about Ziyu. He didn't know how she was doing. He also thought about his family and clansmen. Would they be sad because of his disappearance? Perhaps there were many allies who had reached an agreement with him. Would they go back on their words again? These suppressed emotions made him not dare to relax for even a moment. He wanted to return to the transcendent world as soon as possible so that they wouldn't be worried. Now, with Mi Jaya's music soothing his sorrow, and with the smiles of the many female soldiers, he also blended in with them. He forgot about his feelings and was happy with them. He no longer avoided being taken advantage of by the girls. He also didn't avoid being aroused by the girls. He let nature take its course and let nature take its course. He would find a way out in the future. Commander Wu, am I beautiful? Beautiful as the moon in the sky. Commander Wu, touch my waist. Isn't it very soft and thin? That's right. It's as soft as water. It's also as thin as a willow branch. Commander Wu, can I give you a kiss? You're too handsome. Sure, but don't kiss me. I'm afraid you have bad breath. Commander Wu, why are you so bad? I don't have bad breath. Commander Wu, I'll sleep with you tonight, okay? Commander Wu, look in front of others. Is it big? Is it white? Do you want to touch it? Chapter 1360. It was an amorous and wonderful night. Yang Wu almost had a misfire in the midst of the flowers. At the crucial moment, he regained his senses and didn't do anything crazy. This had something to do with Mi Jaya. She was the one who ordered the party to end and told everyone to disperse. Those who were supposed to guard the camp, those who were supposed to cultivate, continued to cultivate. She even openly told them that she had something to say to Yang Wu. The girls all gave her a "we understand" look and quietly left. There was also a portion of the female soldiers who were very unwilling. They also had something to say to Yang Wu alone. The cool breeze blew gently and the night was alluring. Yang Wu and Mi Jaya came to a quiet place and obtained a breath of peace and quiet. Yang Wu circulated the immortal art and the alcohol smell dissipated a lot. He also became much more sober. You're already tired from the day and they still pulled you to mess around. What a bunch of female perverts. Mi-Jaya muttered softly with her head lowered. It's okay. They're probably too tired and sullen. It's not easy for them to be able to enjoy themselves. It's also very beneficial to their cultivation. Yang Wu replied. It's good that you can understand. Mi-Jaya replied. She raised her head again and looked at the night sky. It's all thanks to you. Otherwise, our Empress battalion would have really lost all faith in my hand. The morale of the soldiers would also completely collapse. I'm afraid it won't be long before the Empress battalion will cease to exist. Can you tell me more about the Empress battalion? The night is long. Don't you think it's a bit of a killjoy to talk about these things? Mi-Jaya turned around and looked at Yang Wu tenderly. Her voice was like the sprinkling of moonlight. It was soft and intoxicating. Her slightly red face was extremely cute. Yang Wu looked at her delicate face and listened to her soft words. His heart couldn't help but beat rapidly for a while. The two of them looked at each other silently, and an inexplicable atmosphere spread out. Yang Wu took a step closer to Mi-Jaya. Mi-Jaya lowered her head slightly, her curled eyelashes fluttering like butterflies, extremely lively. Jaya, you're so beautiful. Well, do you like it? I like it. Then what do you want? Yang Wu pointed at the dirt on Mi-Jaya's shoulder and said seriously, I think your shoulder was dirted by those guys just now. It's ruined the beauty. Hurry up and go back to sleep. Mi-Jaya was stunned for a moment. Her big eyes kept blinking like a butterfly fluttering in the wind. She kept drifting and couldn't reach the destination she wanted to go to. Are you still a man? The woman asked domineeringly. The man covered his face, turned around and ran. I'm not a man. This time it was really a mess. The woman stood in place for a long time before she burst out laughing with a sense of self-mockery and sadness. Yang Wu, you're not king man. Yang Wu didn't have a peaceful night. When he finally escaped and returned to his room, he immediately sensed someone in his room. He was startled. Who's in my room? This was the barracks of the Empress battalion, and there were female soldiers guarding it. Ordinary people couldn't get close. Commander Wu, it's me. A delicate figure appeared in front of Yang Wu. It was Zhang Wei, who was proficient in the art of war. She was also very beautiful, and coupled with her pitiful appearance, it was even more intoxicating. What are you doing here? Yang Wu was stunned for a moment. I'm here to warm your bed? Zhang Wei lowered her head shyly. She thought to herself, I'm already here, why are you still asking me? Is this guy a block of wood? Yang Wu asked, then have you warmed it up? Not yet, I'll wait for Commander Wu to agree. Okay, I agree. Go warm it up. It's my honor, Zhang Wei replied excitedly. Then she jumped onto Yang Wu's bed. At this time, Yang Wu turned around and walked out of the room. He said, Call me when you're warmed up. For a moment, she felt as if horses that looked like sheep were galloping through her head. Then, she left the place dejectedly. Hey, didn't you say you're going to warm my bed? Why did you leave? In the next few days, Yang Wu encountered these strange things one after another. It made him feel very troubled. He wasn't an idiot. He knew what these women wanted to do, but he had his own bottom line. He wouldn't act recklessly. He was teleported here to marry Zuu. After arriving here, although there was a wave of female soldiers, and they were willing to serve him, he was not a casual person. After Yang Wu rejected more than 10 female soldiers, the craze slowly died down. Yang Wu also went to see Mi-Jaya again. He planned to go to the ancient city hall to take a look. Before going, he wanted to understand the situation there. The ancient city hall is the most mysterious place. It's at the back of the city. You have to take out a contribution item to enter. After entering, there are all kinds of things that you can't imagine. As long as you have resources, you can exchange them. maybe divine skills, divine armors, and so on. The resources required will be a lot. There are also divine envoys there. Their battle power is above the 8 great leaders. No one can be rash. Otherwise they will be killed without mercy. After listening to me Jia talk about the ancient city hall, Yang Wu went there alone. After entering, you have to take out a contribution item. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave. Mi Jia didn't have anything to exchange for now. Moreover, she was still angry with Yang Wu. She didn't want to send him there. However, Fei Qing and Fei Ye couldn't bear to see Yang Wu go alone. They followed him. Actually, you don't have to follow me. I can go alone. Yang Wu looked at the two of them and said, Commander Wu, we can tell you about the rules of the ancient city hall on the way. Fei Qing replied, Yes, it's better to understand some things. It's not good to break the rules. Fei Ye added. Then, the two of them told Yang Wu more about the ancient city hall so that he could understand more. The ancient city hall was more like an important place for a mysterious force. The so-called soldiers, heavenly soldiers, and heavenly generals here were pawns that they could use. They would issue missions at any time and recruit many soldiers to search for some strange items. Once they found it, they would give a great reward. If they couldn't find it, there would be no punishment. However, many times pawns would fall in the process of searching. In addition, many heavenly king powerhouses had some kind of cooperation with the ancient city hall. It seemed to be related to leaving the battlefield. Many of the ideas were guessed by Fei Qing and Fei Ye. It was also the guesses of many soldiers. None of them were stupid. When he was cultivating the void tempering technique, he felt that he might be manipulated by others. However, if he wanted to survive here, he could only compromise. Everything would have to wait until he recovered his cultivation. Unknowingly, Yang Wu had arrived at the back of the ancient city. There was a huge hall here that occupied a large piece of land. It was extremely large, and an ancient aura was released, giving people a heavy sense of oppression. Commander Wu, we will wait for you outside, Fei Qing said. You can enter after you hand over the holy stones. Fei Ye reminded. Yang Wu nodded and walked towards the huge bronze door. There were 2 bronze men on the left and right of the bronze door. They wore ancient battle armor and held battle weapons in their hands. They did not have any aura, but no one dared to underestimate them. This was because they were wearing divine weapons and holding divine weapons in their hand. They were clearly very powerful puppets. When Yang Wu arrived in front of the bronze door, it automatically opened. It was as if he had opened the door to another world. A ray of divine light shone over. Yang Wu took a deep breath and stepped through the bronze door. When he entered the bronze door, the supreme 9 profound arts suddenly had an extremely strong reaction. It was a reaction that could only be produced by the call of the profound essence Qi. The other kind of profound essence Qi is here. Yang Wu exclaimed in his heart. Yang Wu had long sensed that there was profound essence Qi in this space. Unfortunately, after being interrupted, he was unable to sense it again. However, after arriving here, the feeling became incomparably clear. He had a kind of impatience to enter the hall and take a look. What kind of profound essence Qi was here? Who are you? Report your name? An ethereal voice asked. Yang Wu of the Empress Battalion is here to pay tribute. Yang Wu said as he cupped his hands. Enter the hall. The voice sounded again. A ray of light spread out from the depths and directly arrived at Yang Wu's feet. This was a rainbow bridge. As long as one walked on it, they would be able to cross to the other side. Yang Wu walked on the rainbow bridge and was led into the main hall. He couldn't see the situation around him clearly. There was only a hazy aura that completely blocked all of his senses. When he came back to his senses, he had already entered a large hall. This was like another space that was incomparably vast. There were numerous enormous pillars that held up the sky, and the surroundings were resplendent walls. There were also numerous paintings or talisman markings that were incomprehensible on the walls. In the sky above the large hall, there was a sky full of jade boxes that flowed here. They were like stars that filled the sky, and they emitted traces of dense qi. Seeing such a situation, Yang Wu was shocked. Just who was it that built such a majestic hall? It contained such an extraordinary universe. In the center, there was a strange picture of a three-faced giant head. It emitted traces of light and a voice sounded, "Offer up the contribution items." Yes. Yang Wu didn't dare to look around. He responded and took out 5 black mist pearls to offer up. A jade box flew down and collected the black mist pearls. Soon a voice sounded again, 5 black mist pearls. You will receive 5,000 holy contribution points. You can accumulate holy contribution points or exchange them for other items. Please choose. I'm a newcomer. Can I see what items can be exchanged? Yang Wu asked. After his voice fell, ancient words suddenly appeared in the space in front of him. There were items written on them. These items were all worth 5,000 holy contribution points or less. There were none worth more than 5,000 holy contribution points. Yang Wu found that these items were all rare. They didn't exist in the transcendent realm, but they appeared here. For example, the sun stone, the moon gem, the soul embryo seed, and so on. I can only see the exchange items worth 5,000 holy contribution points? If you want to see the higher level exchange items, you need to obtain a high level identity. You are only a soldier now. If you become a celestial soldier or celestial general, you will be able to see the higher level exchange items. How do I get a high level identity? Just pass the test. Chapter 1361. The ancient city was divided into soldier, celestial general, and heavenly king. These were the ranks set by the ancient city hall. Only those who had been recognized by the ancient city hall were qualified to have these identities. Even though Yang Wu's performance in the arena was amazing, killing many celestial soldiers and defeating celestial general Yugo, he still couldn't obtain the ancient city hall's recognition. Yang Wu didn't really care about this identity. He just wanted to know the whereabouts of the mysterious essence qi. He wanted to know if it was in the ancient city hall and how much it was worth. When the ancient city hall asked him to verify his identity, he agreed without hesitation. The moment he agreed, the environment in the hall changed. The three-faced head spoke again. Defeat 10 soldiers in the first round. You have the right to challenge the celestial soldiers. These 10 soldiers were puppets. They were all inanimate objects. They were clad in battle armor and wielded saint weapons as they charged towards Yang Wu. Yang Wu thought that these 10 puppets would fight with their lives on the line. Unexpectedly, they stood in different positions and formed a formation to attack him. With 10 people in a formation, the power of the battle would be even stronger. The puppets had different attacks. They reached the power of the Holy Realm. In the blink of an eye, they arrived in front of Yang Wu. They wanted to cut Yang Wu into pieces. Their attacks weren't slow, but in Yang Wu's eyes, they were just SOSO. He moved his body and attacked the 10 puppets continuously. Bang! Bang! Yang Wu's strength was very strong. He continuously attacked with his palms and sent them flying. Yang Wu thought that he had won, but they bounced back and attacked him again. They're so hard. Do I have to destroy them to pass? Yang Wu wondered. In the next moment, Yang Wu discovered the vital points of the puppet. There was a special energy fluctuating in their hearts and between their eyebrows. Perhaps as long as he hit those 2 places, he would be able to repel the puppet. Thus, Yang Wu attacked again. He hit the puppets' hearts and between their eyebrows with his palms. Bang! Bang! A series of muffled sounds rang out as the puppets exploded one after another. Their hearts and eyebrows were indeed their weaknesses. After the 10 puppets died, the voice of the three-faced giant head sounded again. Do you want to pass the next stage? Charge! Yang Wu answered simply. Defeat a low-level heavenly soldier and you'll pass. Another puppet appeared. It was no longer a human, but an alien. It was an alien that was good at speed. As soon as it appeared, it raised its hammer and smashed toward Yang Wu. Its flying speed was extremely shocking, comparable to the speed of a third-level Starmark realm. In the blink of an eye, it landed on top of Yang Wu's head and smashed its sharp hammer down on Yang Wu's head. The sharp aura exerted great pressure on people. Ordinary first-level saints might not be its opponent. Such a test could be used against ordinary saints, but it was not difficult for Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't even try to dodge. Instead, he raised his fist and punched his opponent's hammer. Its hammer was sent flying, and at the same time, a leg whipped towards the center of its eyebrows. The puppet was easily destroyed by Yang Wu's kick. Pass. Do you want to continue taking the intermediate Heavenly Soldier test? Accept. 5 low-level Heavenly Soldiers and an intermediate Heavenly Soldier puppet appeared. They formed a formation again and attacked Yang Wu. Yang Wu easily passed. These puppets weren't weak. Even the Heavenly Soldiers of the various battalions would have to put in a lot of effort to defeat them. Yang Wu could easily take them down. Yang Wu's physical strength was too strong, and his instincts were too strong. Even a peak saint might not be his match now. Once he had profound qi, he would be able to fight a god-level expert. Yang Wu passed all the way and directly arrived at the low-level Heavenly General test. Yang Wu asked, "If I stop the test, how long will it take before I can take the next test?" "It will take a month," the voice replied. "All right, then let's continue the challenge," Yang Wu replied. He didn't want to expose too many of his abilities. He was afraid that being noticed by the living beings here wouldn't be good for him. However, the next test would take a month. This time was a little long for him. He had to raise his level as soon as possible and understand the whereabouts of the mysterious essence qi. Yang Wu rushed to the top-level Heavenly General realm in one go and destroyed 8 puppets that had reached the top-level Heavenly General realm. At this point, Yang Wu was a little afraid. If he continued, would it cause a huge commotion? This made him feel a little uneasy. He decisively gave up on continuing. Bestowed with a top-level Heavenly General token, you can obtain the second and third stages of the Void Tempering Technique. The voice sounded, and a power of inheritance flew towards his glabella. Yang Wu didn't resist. He accepted the inheritance and the token that flew over. If others wanted to obtain the Void Tempering Technique, they had to make sufficient contributions. However, they didn't expect to be rewarded directly by passing the test. Perhaps the soldiers here were aware of this rule, but who would dare to challenge a puppet when they weren't strong enough? Wasn't that courting death? There were people like Yang Wu who could become a top-level Heavenly General the first time they came to the ancient city hall, but they were definitely existences that were rare. Every one of them was a top-level monster. Basically, they all became heavenly kings and went to the god realm in the end. Yang Wu obtained the second and third stages of the Void Tempering Technique, but he wasn't surprised at all. He vaguely felt that something was wrong, but he didn't dare to act rashly. He was afraid that the living beings here would notice. Yang Wu held the Heavenly General token in his hand. It didn't look like a token. It looked more like a badge. The word Void was engraved on one side and the word General was engraved on the other side. It looked like gold, but it wasn't gold. It looked like jade, but it wasn't jade. It was very strange. "I want to see more of the list of items to exchange," Yang Wu said. "Infuse your power into the Heavenly General token, and you can find the items you want on the list," the voice replied. Yang Wu did as he was told. When Yang Wu infused his power into the Heavenly General token, the names of tens of thousands of materials appeared in front of him. These materials were herbs, pills, battle weapons, battle skills, strange items, and more. There were all kinds of things that Yang Wu wanted. It was an eye-opener. Level 1 Golden Godly Armor, both attack and defense. 10,000 Godly Contribution Points. 7 Wounds Godly Fist, 10,000 Godly Contribution Points. Jade Essence Pill, 30,000 godly contribution points. Level 5 Soul Seal Technique, 50,000 godly contribution point. Yang Wu looked at these materials and didn't come back to his senses for a long time. These were basically all God-ranked materials, and the contribution points required to purchase them were also different. Sacred-ranked items basically had no status in this place. Or rather, they were equivalent to trash items. They could be found everywhere, and as long as one had enough contribution points, one could easily exchange for them. Yang Wu finally found the whereabouts of the mystic essence Qi. Emperor Jade Essence Qi, 1 million godly contribution point. This is definitely the Emperor Jade Essence Qi. I can't be wrong. Yang Wu stared at these words and thought excitedly. However, the contribution points required were not cheap. 1 million godly contribution points was equivalent to 1 million high-grade godly stones. High-grade godly stones weren't the same as mid-grade or low-grade godly stones. Even a heavenly king wouldn't be able to easily gather such a price. This price was equivalent to the price of leaving the divine firmament battlefield. Although Yang Wu's martial strength was not bad, he didn't know how long it would take to gather 1 million high-grade godly stones. He also didn't know how many godly items he would need to contribute. However, he wasn't too worried. After all, he was a god apothecary. As long as he showed off his skill in pill concocting, he would be able to easily collect 1 million contribution points from the soldiers. That way, it wouldn't be difficult for him to acquire the Imperial Jade's profound energy. After making up his mind, Yang Wu quickly left the ancient city hall. He didn't exchange for the items that would tempt him. Now wasn't the time to reveal more trump cards. He had to take things one step at a time. After Yang Wu left the ancient city hall, he held the Celestial General Medallion in his hand. After hesitating for a while, he still hung it on his chest. Sometimes, when it was time to be high profile, he had to be high profile. It could save him a lot of trouble. If he kept being low-key, people would think he was easy to bully. When Fei Qing and Fei Ye saw Yang Wu come out of the hall, they immediately walked over. When they saw the shiny medallion on Yang Wu's chest, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. It was a Celestial General Medallion, and a top-grade one at that. This meant that Yang Wu's status in the ancient city had become one of the strongest people in the ancient city. He had the highest status. Apart from the 8 leaders and a few other people, there weren't many people who could compare with Yang Wu. After all, after becoming a heavenly king, they would leave very quickly. They wouldn't stay here for too long. Why are you in a daze? Go back. Yang Wu called out to them. Greetings, Lord Celestial General. After Fei Qing and Fei Ye came back to their senses, they bowed together. Why are you being so polite? Yang Wu was a little uncomfortable. Although he was their commander, he didn't feel that they were very respectful to him. Now he could feel it. Congratulations on becoming a Celestial General. Our Empress Battalion finally has another Celestial General. This is great. Fei Qing smiled. Right, now Commander Mi will become the 3rd commander, and you will be our 2nd commander, Fei Ye said from the side. Don't say that. You will hurt Commander Mi's feelings. Yang Wu stopped them from continuing. Fei Qing continued, Commander Wu may not know this, but our ranking here will be based on Gu City's palace. Your current rank is higher than Commander Mi's, so you will replace her. She will not have any objections, and neither will any of us. That's right. The recognition of the ancient city's palace has authority here. As a commander, it is enough to make the other leaders pay attention. There are no more than 20 people who can compare to you. Fei Ye said. There are so many people in the ancient city's palace. How can there be so few top-grade celestial generals? Yang Wu asked, confused. There are many celestial generals, but there are very few top-grade celestial generals. After reaching this step, they will wholeheartedly break through to the heavenly king level. Then, they will pay enough contribution points to leave for the God realm. Tell me, how did you get here? Chapter 1362. Earth Star was divided into 6 realms: human, demon, monster, ghost, celestial, and immortal realms. There were also countless spatial realms in the 6 realms. The transcendent realm and the mortal realm were considered small realms in the human realm. There were also many special realms. The human realm had a total of 81 realms, and humans lived in every one of them. It was rumored that in ancient times, a great battle had broken Earthstar, resulting in the Earthstar being divided into 6 realms and various small realms. Fei Qing, Feiya, and the others came from another realm called the Martial Realm. They had the strength of a peak stage sage, and had come to the Divine Realm to break through to the Jade Moon Realm. According to what you said, the others came from different realms, and this place is an interface between the human realm and the Divine Realm? Yang Wu asked again. That's right. Didn't you come here to go to the Divine Realm? Fei Qing asked. I came here by mistake. Yang Wu spread his hands and said. Then what realm are you from? The Transcendent Realm. The lowest realm among the 81 realms, the Transcendent Realm? Fei Qing was speechless. Feiya was also in disbelief. She did not expect Yang Wu to come from such a low-level realm. Yang Wu did not know the situation between the realms. He touched his nose and said, Is our realm that low-level? 81 realms, and each realm has a difference in strength. As far as we know, the people from the Transcendent Realm are indeed weaker, and there are even fewer people who can go to the Divine Realm. This is all recorded in the ancient books. That's right. I have an ancient book here that you can take a look at. I didn't expect a true dragon like you to be born in such a low-level realm. The human realm's origin must be extraordinary. Yang Wu took the ancient book from Feiya and flipped through it as he walked back to the Empress camp. Along the way, when the soldiers saw Yang Wu, they looked at him disapprovingly at first. Then, when they saw the token hanging on his chest, they immediately bowed and saluted him. Experts at the heavenly general level would be treated with respect wherever they went. Yang Wu briefly skimmed through the records in the ancient books, and as expected, he discovered that the Transcendent Realm was ranked at the bottom after 70-something. There was no other reason other than the fact that it had the fewest number of people who had gone to the Immortal Realm in the last 100,000 years, so its position was extremely low. A long time ago, the Transcendent Realm was still a top-notch realm, and it was ranked in the top 10. Unfortunately, after 100,000 years, its status had plummeted, and it was looked down upon by many realms humans. As for the humans from the top 10 realms, they were the ones who stood above the rest. No matter where they were, they would always be a cut above the rest. This was also because they were the ones with the highest number of people heading to the Divine Realm. Also, he learned from the two that the Divine Firmament battlefield was only one of the entrances to the Divine World. There were many other entrances, and the risks were different. The Divine Firmament battlefield was an ancient battlefield, and it was also a training ground. Here, one's cultivation level would be completely suppressed. Whoever could recultivate their cultivation level and step into the Jade Moon Realm would become a god-level expert, and their journey to the Divine World would be much smoother. It could also bridge the gap between the immortals of the mortal realm and the immortals of the Divine World. After all, the Divine World was blessed by the heavens. They were born as divine sons and divine daughters, and they had countless cultivation resources. They were much stronger than the mortals of the mortal realm. Even if mortals went through countless efforts and finally entered the Divine World, they would only be at the bottom of the hierarchy, and they would only be oppressed living beings. Yang Wu's understanding of the situation here was like seeing the moon after the clouds cleared, and he suddenly saw the light. It turned out that this battlefield was not only a passage to the Divine World, but also a training ground before entering the Divine World. It was to allow the living beings of the mortal realm to improve their foundation and battle strength, and to close the gap between them and those of the mortal realm. As for the void tempering art passed down by the ancient city temple, Perhaps it was a place left behind by a certain power in the divine world to cultivate their inheritance. If anyone cultivated this body-tempering art and reached the Jade Moon realm, after entering the divine world, they would directly become a member of that power or be branded with that power's mark. This water is really deep, Yang Wu sighed in his heart. Yang Wu returned to his residence, and many female soldiers surrounded him again. Yang Wu had been recognized by the ancient city temple and become a top-level divine general. This was big news, and it was even more exciting than Yang Wu's consecutive victories yesterday. The women of the Princess Battalion were too insecure. Mi Jiao was not enough to give them a sense of security, but Yang Wu could. Especially after he had been recognized by the ancient city temple, the Princess Battalion finally had a top-level divine general. If the other battalions wanted to bully them, they would have to think twice. When Mi Jia saw Yang Wu, she directly told him that the position of second commander had been handed over to Yang Wu. In the future, he would be able to give orders to the Princess Battalion. Until the princess returned, he would be the first commander of the Princess Battalion. Yang Wu did not refuse. On the way back, he had already heard the rules from Fei Qing and Fei Yi. In any case, at his level, it did not matter if he used these female soldiers or not. No one could restrict him. It was better than anything else. Leader, how long has it been since the princess disappeared? Yang Wu asked. A trace of sadness flashed across Mi Jia's face as she said, "More than 10 years. It's been so long, and you still keep her position as leader? Why don't you choose a new leader?" Yang Wu asked in surprise. The princess said that she would return, so... Mi Jia replied awkwardly. The other girls also revealed complicated expressions towards the princess. Apart from respect, there was also a hint of fear. Yang Wu seemed to understand something. He muttered, "If I want to turn the Princess Battalion into my force, will you agree?" When he obtained the top-level Divine General token, he already had this idea. However, he did not reveal it easily. After Fei Qing and Fei Yi told him the rules of the ancient city temple, he became even more determined. This is not good, right? What if the princess comes back? She is not easy to talk to. Something might have happened to the princess. The female divine soldier commander revealed a hesitant expression. She was extremely conflicted. Mi Jia did not know what to say. She had a good relationship with the princess. Without the princess, she would not have the strength of a top-level divine soldier. However, the princess had indeed disappeared for too long. The people's hearts were scattered. If this continued, the Princess Battalion would collapse. Fei Qing said loudly, "The Empress was our previous leader, but it has been more than 10 years since she left. According to the rules of the Palace of Ancient City, we can already appoint another leader. I suggest that Commander Wu be our leader. He can lead us to become stronger, obtain more resources, and work hard to head to the Divine Realm." Fei Yi also said, "Commander Yang Wu's talent is outstanding. Although he has only been in the Princess Battalion for a short period of time, everyone has seen his character. There is nothing to say about him. He is a capable leader. I also suggest that Commander Yang Wu be our leader and lead us to become stronger." After Fei Qing and Fei Yi spoke, some female soldiers also joined in supporting Yang Wu. "I support Commander Wu to be our leader. Commander Wu, please lead us to obtain more resources. Commander Wu, I love you. Whatever you want to do, I will support you. Even if the princess returns, I will support you." Yang Wu's popularity was really good. After Fei Qing and Fei Yi's suggestion, most of the female soldiers supported him. Mi Jia and the other female commanders of the Heavenly Soldier rank looked at this scene with bitter smiles on their faces. They had been looking forward to the return of the Empress to lead them again and become the head of the 8 great battalions. Now, it seemed that they could no longer hope for that. Yang Wu's appearance broke the princess's shackles and gave them hope. That was why they supported Yang Wu so much. It was not only because Yang Wu was strong, but because they all wanted to get rid of this awkward situation as soon as possible. They wanted to increase their strength as soon as possible and find a way to leave this place. After Mi Jia and the other divine soldier commanders nodded, Yang Wu became the leader of the Princess Battalion as he wished. However, he did not plan to use the name of the Princess Battalion. Instead, he changed it to the Marquis Battalion. They would become soldiers of the Marquis Battalion. They were originally Saint Realm experts from different realms. Some of them had even reached the half-step Tongtian level. They had fought together for a long time, but they did not have a sense of belonging here. Whoever could lead them to obtain resources would be the leader. They could change the name of the battalion however they wanted. Some voices of opposition were completely suppressed. Then, Yang Wu announced that he was an alchemist, which smoothed out their dissatisfaction. As long as any of them could provide the materials, he could refine any level of elixir they needed. This news instantly ignited the hope of everyone in the battalion. It was not easy to increase one's cultivation level here. They had to obtain the void tempering technique to absorb the power of the void. If they had the help of elixirs, it would greatly shorten the time they needed to increase their cultivation level. There were not many alchemists here. Even if there were alchemists, their strength would be suppressed here. They could not refine elixirs. Yang Wu did not have such restrictions. His strength was suppressed, but it was not difficult for him to refine divine elixirs. When he recovered his cultivation level, he could also refine divine elixirs. Yang Wu gathered the materials of all the female soldiers and began to refine the first batch of elixirs for them. It was a way to win their hearts. All the female soldiers were looking forward to it. When Yang Wu successfully refined the first batch of lesser divine elixirs, the Princess Battalion immediately became excited. With this batch of lesser divine elixirs, their strength could be improved. Help me spread the word that I can refine elixirs for any soldier, but they must provide the materials themselves and pay contribution points or remuneration, Yang Wu announced. When he learned that the mystic essence Qi required 1,000,000 god contribution points, he could not remain calm. When the Empress Battalion spread this news, Yang Wu became the most popular character in the ancient city. Chapter 1363. What did you say? The Empress Battalion has changed to the Marquis Battalion? That's right, Yang Wu has become a top-notch heavenly general and taken over the Empress Battalion. Furthermore, it has changed its name to Marquis Battalion. There's another big piece of news. Yang Wu is a saint-level alchemist. If anyone can take out the ingredients, he can help them refine pills. The prerequisite is that they have enough contribution points or other resources. Is he going to defy the heavens? His battle prowess is so abnormal, and he's also an alchemist. He can't be lying to us, right? He should be a master of both alchemy and martial arts. This guy is going to be rich. He has changed his name to Marquis Battalion. I wonder if he accepts male soldiers. The news of Yang Wu was spreading among the various battalions. They were constantly trying to verify the authenticity of the news. This was too shocking for them. After many inquiries, the news of Yang Wu becoming a top-notch heavenly general was definitely not fake. In addition, they did not dare to be completely sure of the news of him being an alchemist. This was because the news came from the mouths of the female soldiers of Marquis Battalion. It was hard to tell if it was true or false. However, when another piece of news came out, they believed 80% of it. That was, Yang Wu could not refine the pills they needed. The materials would be returned double. Yang Wu dared to boast like this, giving the soldiers of the other battalions a great sense of trust. Thus, soldiers from the other battalions came to Marquis Battalion with materials and requested to see Yang Wu. The other party could not see Yang Wu, so Fei Qing and Fei Yi received him. After handing over the materials, he could come back 3 days later to collect the pills. The other party was skeptical. After 3 days, he came back and indeed obtained the pills he needed. Just like this, the news of Yang Wu being an alchemist spread. Following that, many soldiers brought materials to Marquis Battalion to line up, hoping that Yang Wu would refine pills for them. In the beginning, there were not many soldiers. Yang Wu accepted the orders one by one and completed the requests of these soldiers. He also obtained some contribution points. Unfortunately, Yang Wu was not satisfied with this. The contribution points of this kind of low-level pill were too little. It was simply a waste of his time. He doubled the price of the pill and accepted the refinement of the sacred pill. The soldiers here did not lack resources. After they came to the Divine Firmament battlefield, they still had their original foundation and had not contributed all of it to the ancient city hall. They still had a lot of saint stones. Even if Yang Wu raised the price, they could still afford it. As for those sacred pills, only Heaven Soldier level commanders needed to refine them. Only then would they be able to take out more contribution points to exchange for the pills. The price Yang Wu offered was actually only double the price of the outside world. In this place where there were very few pills, doubling the price wasn't too outrageous. The reason why he did this was because his pill congealing rate was very high, and the number of pills he concocted was very high. After he concocted a batch of pills, he only needed to give 1 or 2 pills to the other party, and the rest could be traded with others. Unknowingly, he earned the most. In a single month, Yang Wu had obtained 100,000 saint contribution points, as well as many saint stones and herbs. If he exchanged them all, it would be equivalent to 500,000 saint contribution points. This was an income that many people might not be able to obtain in a year or even several years. Unfortunately, this income was just a drop in the bucket for Yang Wu. If this continues, when will I be able to earn 1,000,000 God contribution points? I need to change my strategy. Yang Wu was not satisfied with this and thought to himself. Just then, Mi Jia walked over carefully and said, "Leader, Heavenly General Dongfang Chen wants to see you." Now, Mi Jia was not as graceful as before beside Yang Wu. She seemed more restrained. This was also due to the change in their identities. Dongfang Chen. Yang Wu was puzzled. The new top-level Heavenly General of the Heaven Sword Camp. "You've met him once," Mi Jia emphasized. "Let him in," Yang Wu said after thinking for a moment. Soon, a steady and tall man walked in. It was Dongfang Chen. "Leader Yang Wu." Dongfang Chen greeted after seeing Yang Wu. Yang Wu returned the greeting and said, "Brother Dongfang, what brings you here?" The other party was the Heavenly General who had obtained the magnetic light in the magnetic pit. Now that he had passed the test of the ancient city hall, he had become a top-level Heavenly General like Yang Wu. "I'm here to discuss a cooperation with Leader Yang Wu," Dongfang Chen said. Dongfang Chen said, and then went straight to the point, "Our Heavenly Sword Camp needs a batch of medicinal pills, either saint pills or minor saint pills. We will provide the materials and give you a satisfactory reward." "How much do you need?" Yang Wu asked in return. "No limit. 10,000, 20,000, Dongfang Chen said generously. "That's a lot. I'll need a long time to refine them." "That's right. So I hope that Leader Yang Wu can refine pills for our Heaven Sword Camp first. I'm sorry. I don't want to accept this deal for the time being." "Why? Are you afraid that we can't pay you?" Yang Wu shook his head and said, "No, I need a lot of contribution points. I thought that refining pills could give me contribution points quickly, but it's still not enough. It's too slow." Dongfang Chen and Mi Jia's eyes almost popped out when they heard this. He had earned dozens of times the saint contribution points in a month, and he thought it was too slow? Did Yang Wu's conscience not hurt when he said this? They had worked hard outside, but it was difficult for them to earn so many contribution points. He actually thought it was too little. It was too much. "How many contribution points do you need?" Dongfang Chen came back to his senses and asked. 1,000,000. Yang Wu immediately replied. After a pause he said, "Godly contribution points." Dongfang Chen and Mi Jia fell silent. They also needed that many contribution points. With so many contribution points, they could leave this place. But before he became a heavenly king, it was almost impossible for him to earn so many contribution points. It was an astronomical number. If you want to obtain so many contribution points, you won't be able to obtain so many contribution points unless you go to those divine ruins or ruins to harvest divine items. Or you can also refine divine pills. Dongfang Chen replied. You're right. So I don't plan to refine these low-level pills anymore. It's a waste of my time. It's a pity that I haven't fully recovered. Otherwise, I could refine some divine pills and earn these contribution points easily. What a pity! Yang Wu sighed. Dongfang Chen and Mi Jiao were shocked again. From Yang Wu's tone, he was also a divine apothecary? Could it be that when he entered the divine firmament battlefield, he was already at the divine firmament realm? That was impossible. Normally, those who had reached the divine firmament realm were not allowed to enter the divine firmament battlefield. Only those who were below the divine firmament realm were qualified to enter the divine firmament battlefield to train. Brother Dongfang, you can go back first. Let me think about it. If I refine more pills, I'll give you priority, Yang Wu said. Dongfang Chen didn't leave. Instead, he said, Leader Yang Wu, why don't you come with us to the ruins or the divine site to do a mission? It's faster to earn contribution points, but it's more dangerous. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows. Brother Dongfang, do you have a good place to go? What good place can there be? If we want to improve and need divine items, we have to go to the divine site or the ruins. If we're lucky enough to find divine items, we can increase our combat power and exchange them for contribution points. Otherwise, it'll be difficult to improve, Dongfang Chen said. Yang Wu thought about it again. Let me think about it. I don't want to go out in the short term. Let's work together again if there's a chance. Dongfang Chen could only leave after hearing Yang Wu's words. After Mi Jia saw them off, she said, Leader, if you keep refining pills like this, it won't take you a few years to accumulate the contribution points you need. There's no need to take the risk. Even so, it's not my style to stay here and refine pills. I still want to go out and have a look. Yang Wu replied. After a pause, he said, But don't worry. Before I go out, I'll definitely increase your strength. As long as you give me some contribution points, I'll give you pills at a cheaper price. The price will be half of what the other battalions give you. Thank you, leader. Mi Jia was overjoyed. Yang Wu became the leader of the Wu Ho battalion. He didn't want the battalion to collapse like this. If he increased the realm of Mi Jia and the others, it would increase the strength of the Wu Ho battalion. Even if he went out, no one would dare to bully them. He did this for a great purpose. Perhaps they could become his secret troop in the future. If there was a chance, he also wanted to send all the people from the transcendent realm here to train. If someone knew what he was thinking, they would laugh at him for being whimsical. He didn't even have the ability to leave this place, so how could he send people here to train? After Yang Wu stopped refining pills, he went into seclusion. He took out the dragon egg and sensed the power of the dragon egg. There was already life inside, and there was no way to refine its essence. He could only seal it and let it hatch into an evil dragon in the future. Maybe he could give it to one of his disciples as a gift. After that, Yang Wu started to work on the immortal route. He had to quickly recover his realm and strength before heading to the god sites and ruins to obtain more opportunities and contribution points. Ever since the immortal peach tree told him that the immortal root belonged to him and wasn't given to him by the immortal disc core, he had been thinking about how to use it. This was probably the fastest way for him to recover his realm. The divine weapon electric fork wasn't willing to tell him how to use the immortal root, so he tried to figure it out himself. He didn't believe that he couldn't use it. He circulated the Supreme Nine Mysteries mantra, the 12 standard meridians, and the 8 extraordinary meridians. Balls of Xian Qi flowed in his meridians and formed a cycle with his dantian. His realm and strength were slowly increasing, but he couldn't use the power of the immortal root. Yang Wu looked at it and tried to use his power to touch it. However, when his power got close, it was absorbed by it. It still didn't move. He tried all kinds of methods, but he still didn't gain much. It's something in my body, so it must be able to sense what I'm sensing. Why can't I use it? My method must be wrong. My power can only strengthen it, so it must be able to strengthen my body and realm. Do I have to refine it into my Danteon? No, it can't be like this. Immortal root, awaken for me. Whoosh. Chapter 1364. As Yang Wu's willpower roared, the immortal root suddenly swayed. Wisps of immortal qi floated above his Danteon and spread to every part of his body. After the Xian qi that was circulating was nourished by the immortal qi, it became more cheerful. His limbs, bones, and internal organs were all cleansed. His entire body was filled with immortal light, and he felt extremely comfortable. His divine court Dao flower was also nourished by the immortal qi and grew vigorously. Petals bloomed one by one, and in the blink of an eye, there were 13 petals. His soul also had a unique immortal qi, and it became even more extraordinary. The immortal root awakened, and a vision appeared. Suddenly, a brilliant light appeared in the ancient city, and inexplicable auspicious clouds appeared. Immortal palaces appeared, fairies danced, and cranes cried. It was a scene of singing and dancing, a scene of peace and prosperity, and immortal palaces appearing in the world. All the creatures in the ancient city looked up at this scene and were completely stunned. Even the creatures in the ancient city's palace were awakening. A powerful divine sense sensed everything that was happening in the ancient city to figure out how this vision appeared. Following the appearance of this strange phenomenon, many dangerous places outside the ancient city became incomparably restless. Powerful, ferocious beasts were born, shocking the world. Miracles appeared, wiping out an area of space. There were also strange items descending from the sky, causing countless dispute. No one knew what this was indicating, and no one knew who caused it. The strange phenomena came and went quickly. It was not easy to find some clues among the millions of living beings. Yang Wu was completely stunned. He really did not expect that the awakening of the immortal root would cause such a big commotion. The harvest was so great that it was more terrifying than cultivating a great success divine body. After his entire body had undergone a new round of marrow cleansing, his body had completely evolved. The hidden danger left by the dark nether spring had been completely eliminated. Boundless vitality was contained in every part of his body. Many hidden meridians and acupoints had been activated, and some inexplicable divine treasures had been opened. Even his blood had undergone a complete change. His blue blood vessels had turned into the red blood vessels of a newborn baby. Moreover, it contained traces of a different feeling. It was a power that surpassed the bloodlines of ordinary creatures. It was a mysterious power that reigned above bloodlines. Every single change made Yang Wu unable to use words to express his current feelings. It was simply too shocking. Even if he had taken a drop of immortal liquid, there would not be such a shocking change. This was a change in the physique of life. It exceeded the scope of a great success divine body and became a unique physique. It was also called the battle physique by the human race. Yang Wu's immortal root had awakened, and he had achieved an immortal physique. It was too early to call it an immortal physique. It was the foundation of an immortal physique. One's cultivation talent would become even more abnormal and his future would be limitless. Of the heavenly dragon realm, and of the heavenly fish realm. And he had reached the dragon transformation realm. And had reached the peak dragon transformation realm. Was only one step away of the dragon realm. Of the dragon of the realm. In addition to the immortal root, it was also because Yang Wu had already tempered each realm to an incomparably perfect state, which was why his realm could advance without any hindrance. His next step was to break through the celestial rune realm. It would be much easier. As long as he adapted to his body, he would be able to break through. Yang Wu's body excreted a thin layer of mucus. This was the impurities hidden deep in his body. When he cultivated the great success Saint Physique, there were almost no impurities in his body. However, under the immortal root's marrow cleansing, some impurities were still expelled. This proved that some impurities were hidden very deeply. Only a true immortal root physique could expel them. Perhaps they were not impurities, but impurities that the immortal Qi could not tolerate. Yang Wu felt the changes in his body in a daze. He was unable to regain his senses for a long time. At this moment, he felt that his power was surging. He could kill a half-step heaven-piercing realm expert with his bare hand. He could even kill a true heaven-piercing realm expert. If he waited until he recovered his original realm, then he would be even more terrifying. My foundation is becoming more and more solid. There are no more obstacles to the Jade Moon realm. In the future, I might really become an immortal. Yang Wu was full of confidence. He found that the power in his dantian was no less than the power of the Saint Realm. In terms of Xianqi battle power, it would not be difficult for him to fight a mid-level or high-level Saint Realm expert. It could be said that he had recovered half of his battle power. Yang Wu stood up and used the dragon turtle suppressing water stance. Water rushed out from the ground and circled around his body. It washed away all the impurities on his body. Yang Wu laughed and said, "I am more in tune with the power of heaven and earth. Even in this void, I can still feel the existence of the power of heaven and earth. This is why the immortal root is different." He did not find that his temperament had become even more different. An outstanding immortal Qi enveloped him. It would not be an exaggeration to call himself the son of an immortal. After Yang Wu put on his clothes again, he activated the Celestial General Token and began to contact the ancient city palace. He was going to go out and do some missions to earn God contribution points. The Celestial Soldier Token and Celestial General Token could directly sense the missions of the ancient city palace. This was to make it easier for them to earn God contribution points. After looking around, Yang Wu found that many of the missions were very challenging. Go to the Northern Secret Temple and obtain the Dark North Flower. You will receive 500 God contribution points. Go to the Storm Space and obtain the Wind Setting Stone. You will receive 100 God contribution points. Kill 500 kilograms of Black Iron Divine Stone. You will receive 200 God contribution points. Kill a God-level evil dragon. You will receive 1,000 God contribution points. In the end, Yang Wu's gaze landed on a mission. He held his breath and read it over and over again. Go to the Thunder Space and obtain the Thunder God Flower. You will receive 1,000,000 God contribution points. The Thunder God Flower was a rare flower in the Thunder God realm. Its value was extraordinary. It could not be compared to a normal false god medicine. It was a true god medicine. Moreover, it was a top-grade true god medicine. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was worth 1,000,000 god stones. Even a top-grade Jade Moon Realm expert might not be able to obtain such a god flower. Its location was extremely dangerous. The Thunder God Flower was everywhere. It could kill a true god. Other than this mission, there were many other missions that were worth 1,000,000 God contribution points. These missions were very difficult to complete. Not only did they require strength, but they also required heaven-defying luck. It was not something that anyone could do. There are many quests here. I can go to any pocket dimension to do them. Unfortunately, it will take a lot of time. I must choose a more targeted location to earn contribution points as quickly as possible, Yang Wu thought to himself. That way, I can earn contribution points as quickly as possible. Soon, he drew a route. He would first pass through the barren plains and then arrive at the ruins of a temple. Finally, he would head to the Thunder Space to find the Thunder God Flower. Even if he could not find the Thunder God Flower, he could find the Thunder God Elixir. A pool of Thunder God elixir was worth 100,000 God contribution points. There was also the Thunder God pearl, which was worth 50,000 God contribution points. There were also many other Thunder God items, all of which were of high value. Before leaving, Yang Wu gathered Mi Jia, Fei Qing, Fei Ye, and some other heavenly soldier-level commanders. When they saw Yang Wu again, they were dazzled by his aura. It was as if it was the first time they had seen Yang Wu so handsome and charming. They were deeply attracted to him, and could not recover for a long time. "Why are you all staring at me like that? Is there a flower on my face?" Yang Wu asked as he touched his face. "Leader, there isn't a flower on your face, but it's even more beautiful than a flower." Mi Jia blurted out. "Yeah. Leader, how did you do it? You're so charming. When the ladies of Wu Ho Camp see you again, I'm afraid they'll all fall head over heels for you." Fei Ye was also very pleased. "All right, don't be greedy. I know I'm very handsome, but if you keep praising me like this, I might get carried away." Yang Wu smiled faintly. Then, he cut to the chase and said, "I have a batch of pills here. Some of them are for you, while the rest are for you to control. Whoever can earn more contribution points for the camp, the pills will be given to them." Yang Wu took out a pile of pills. There were Saint Pills and Little Saint Pills, all of which he had refined for others during this period of time. There were at least 8,000 pills. There were not many alchemists who could refine so many pills in such a short time. The ladies were shocked by Yang Wu's generosity. With Yang Wu's batch of pills, they could exchange for at least 1,000,000 saint contribution points. Yang Wu casually kept all of them for them. It was clear how generous he was. Mi Jia carefully took the pills and said respectfully, "We won't let down the leader's expectations of us. Alright, I plan to go out on a mission. I'll be back in half a year if I'm quick, and a year if I'm late. During this time, Mi Jia will continue to be in charge of the camp. The rest of you will support her with all your strength." Yang Wu emphasized the itinerary to reassure them. After all, if the princess didn't return, they would be leaderless. He had just become their leader, and now he had to leave again. He felt a little apologetic. "Leader, I'm afraid I'm not up to the task," Mi Jia said bitterly. Yang Wu had completely won the hearts of the people. Everyone was willing to listen to his orders. If she were to be in charge again, the pressure would not be small. In addition, the people of the other camps were also afraid of Yang Wu, but not her. "Don't worry, there are star pills among the pills I gave you. It's enough to help you break through to the heavenly general realm. They will be willing to listen to you." "Star pills, then there shouldn't be a problem. And Fei Qing, Fei Ye, you all also have star pills, so your strength will improve. Don't worry, when I return next time, I will prepare some better pills for you to help you all reach the heavenly general realm. You can then escape from the battlefield." "Many thanks, leader. And you don't need to announce my departure. Don't let anyone know that I've left War City for at least 3 months. You will have enough time to improve your strength. At that time, you won't need to be afraid of the other camp." Chapter 1365. Yang Wu once again appeared in the barren plains. He had sneaked out under the cover of night. He had not alerted anyone, nor had he been discovered by the other battalions. His goal was to buy some time for Mijaya and the others to break through to a higher level. By then, even if the other battalions knew that he had left the Wu Ho battalion, they would not dare to act recklessly in the Wu Ho battalion. This time, Yang Wu was traveling alone. He was in a good mood. As his strength gradually recovered, his confidence grew. Even if he encountered some powerful creatures on the plains, he would be able to put up a fight. "It's time to crazily earn contribution points," Yang Wu thought to himself. He summoned the sacred mandala flower and began to sweep through all the resources here. At this moment, even in the darkness of the night, his eyes could see thousands of miles away. He could even see a bug lying on a wild flower clearly. His soul sense also covered a greater area. It was not inferior to when he was at his peak. This was the benefit of the immortal root's purification. The senses of his 5 senses had surpassed that of a saint. It was very beneficial to him. Some of the herbs hidden in the dark were discovered by him one by one. With a move of his divine sense, he could collect these herbs one by one. He brought the sacred mandala flower deeper. He planned to go to the magnetite pit again to collect more magnetite rays. Each ray of magnetite ray was worth 1,000 god contribution points. He might not be able to collect 1,000, but collecting dozens or even 100 of them should not be a problem. The only problem was to make sure that the immortal peach tree did not devour them all. Soon, he arrived near the magnetite pit. Just as he was about to collect magnetite rays like last time, he realized that the magnetite power had been retracted. It was not like last time, where there was a large area of magnetite power. There was only a small magnetite pit in the depth. It was obvious that the magnetite beast had retracted all its power. "This guy is too smart," Yang Wu exclaimed. He guessed that the magnetite beast must have stopped releasing magnetite power after a portion of its magnetite power was absorbed the last time. Yang Wu could only leave helplessly. This magnetite beast was worth 100,000 god contribution points. If it was alive, it would be worth 300,000 god contribution points. Unfortunately, he did not have the ability to subdue it. The other party was definitely a top-tier mythological beast. Even if he and the holy mandala flower worked together, they would be killed by the magnetic force before they could even get close. Yang Wu continued deeper into the plains. There was a shrine in the plains known as the Temple of Peace. He didn't know where it had come from, but there were still many god-level opportunities left behind. This was one of the goals of his trip. Only high-ranked heavenly generals would be able to reach the Taiping Temple. Those who were too weak would only die on the way. Before arriving at the Taiping Temple, Yang Wu discovered a group of demon clans. They were surrounding and killing a group of wolf demons, and in this territory, there was a medicinal field. There were holy medicines and small holy medicines. No wonder the demon clan would make such a big fuss. These demonic wolf lords were not weak either. They were not easily killed by the fiends. The battle between the two sides was very intense. In the end, it was the demon clan's creatures that chased the demonic wolf demons away. Yang Wu would not let go of the opportunity to kill them. He ordered the holy mandala flower to attack and devour them all. The holy mandala flower was nourished by Yang Wu's immortal root and became even more sacred. It did not look like an evil flower at all, but more like an immortal flower. Its killing power was very strong. She was about to reach the god level. Before that, she needed to accumulate a large amount of energy. These demon clan's creatures were her energy source. These demon clan's creatures did not have much room to resist. Even if a demon saint activated a demon god's item, it was killed by Yang Wu's netherworld ice-winged blade before it could release its power. Yang Wu collected all the herbs in this area. Then, he found a saint vein underground. Naturally, he also pulled it out and put it in his bag. Yang Wu continued to move forward. The creatures he encountered became more and more powerful. Some of them could easily find his whereabouts and forced him to flee in a sorry state. There were many of them, and their life force was incomparably strong. He could not kill them all just because he wanted to. In addition, he also saw a terrifying creature that was as big as a mountain. He almost stepped on its back. Fortunately, he sensed that it was a big guy with life force and decisively distanced himself from it. There were also some evil plants. Even the holy mandala flower was afraid of them. Their cultivation was too high. She was no match for them. Yang Wu used the Big Dipper sword and Blue Demonis consecutively to pass through these dangerous situations. From this, one could see how terrifying the barren plains were. If others wanted to enter, they would have a 90% chance of dying. Finally, he saw a ruined shrine in the distance. It was still shrouded in divine light. All living things could not easily get close. After arriving here, Yang Wu could not wait to approach. Don't disappoint me, Yang Wu thought. Before he arrived at the shrine, he sensed the presence of many creatures in the surroundings. There were humans, foreign races, and beasts. They were all in different locations, but their target was undoubtedly the Peace Shrine. These creatures were all very powerful. They were at least peak saints. There were not many of them. Those who could make it here all had some god-tier trump cards. After arriving here, they were clearly trying to find a way to enter the shrine. So far, they had not found a way. Yang Wu went around them and approached the shrine. He also discovered that there was a god formation around the shrine. Ordinary creatures could not enter. He sensed the surroundings, and after he discovered that there were no suspicious living beings in the surroundings, he opened his soul eye without hesitation to see if there were any flaws in the divine formation. Very quickly, he discovered that there were indeed some weak spots in the divine formation, and there were also some cracks. However, they also contained great danger, and if he accidentally touched those spots, he would definitely die. Before he could find the true flaws, he heard a shout not far away. "Wait for me to break through." This was a member of the outsider race who possessed the otherworldly eyes. He could also see the situation within the formation. With a confident shout, he charged into the formation. He hadn't even taken a few steps when an inexplicable power rippled, and a terrifying power swept towards him. Ah! He could only let out a miserable cry before he was quickly turned into a pool of blood. He could not be more dead. The other creatures were all covered in cold sweat. They did not dare to take the risk. Not long after, an old beast in human form came. He wore a set of armor and carried the demon god lamp. He tried to break through the formation again. This old beast was quite capable. After carefully walking into the formation, he quietly disappeared among the creatures. Very clearly, this old beast had found a way to enter the shrine. The other creatures saw hope again and tried to break through the shrine. Unfortunately, most of the creatures who tried to break through the shrine did not have much luck. Even though the god formation was quite damaged, it was still not easy for god-tier creatures to enter. Soon, there were also humans who were eager to give it a try. "Brother Dongfang, are we really going to go in?" someone asked the leader. The leader was Dongfang Qin of the Sky Sword Camp. He had not expected him to come to the Taiping Shrine. Besides him, there were a few other people. They were Yu Go, Wen Chongqiao, Sang Chenxiang, and two other heavenly generals Yang Wu had never seen before. These people were at least high-level saints. Before entering the divine firmament battlefield, their strength had all reached the peak of the saint stage or half a step into the immortal realm. Fortune comes from danger. I have the power of magnetism to interfere with the power of the god formation. Brother Wen also has the formation-breaking flag. We should be able to pass through together. Even if we encounter danger, Chenxiang has the teleportation decree and can teleport us out. What's there to worry about? Dongfang Qin analyzed. When Chongqiao nodded. That's right. Let's try together. Perhaps we can get unexpected gains. The others hesitated. The two heavenly generals Yang Wu had never seen before retreated. They did not dare to join the group. The other four began to take out their divine items and prepared to break through. "Brother Dongfang, why don't you wait for me?" Yang Wu's voice rang out. He decided to break through with Dongfang Qin and the others. They were more confident than if he went alone. Yang Wu. Yu Go tensed up when he saw him. He had been defeated by Yang Wu and had a deep impression of Yang Wu. "Leader Yang Wu, when did you come?" Dongfang Qin was pleasantly surprised. When he was in the ancient city, he met Yang Wu and wanted Yang Wu to refine some pills for the heavenly sword camp. Unfortunately, Yang Wu did not plan to refine any more pills. After he bid farewell to Yang Wu, he called a few of his heavenly generals and rushed to the Taiping Temple. He did not expect to meet Yang Wu here. He was quite happy. With Yang Wu joining them, their side was more confident. "I just arrived," Yang Wu replied. Leader Yang Wu, are you really going to break in with us? It's very dangerous here, Dongfang Chen reminded him. You all have the courage. I'm not afraid of death either. Let's go in and take a risk. Perhaps we'll reap great rewards, Yang Wu said. All right, if that's the case, let's discuss how to break the formation. We'll do our best to make sure nothing goes wrong, Dongfang Chen said. When Chong Chao opened his mouth and said, Leader Yang Wu, we'll all contribute. What help can you provide us? Yugo and Sangchenxiang also looked at Yang Wu. They wanted to hear what Yang Wu had to break the formation. Brother Dongfang has the power of magnetism. I have it too. I can open up a path with him, Yang Wu said seriously. After a pause, he said, I also have a formation-breaking flag. All right, then we welcome Leader Yang Wu to join us, Wen Chongqiao said with satisfaction. Once we enter the formation, it's hard to say whether we'll live or die. I hope no one will play tricks. Otherwise, no one will have a good time, Yugo said. He was deliberately targeting Yang Wu. If I want to trick you, I don't need to enter the formation. I can do it right now, Yang Wu said calmly as he looked at Yugo. All right, stop arguing. Everyone get ready. We'll break in together. Chapter 1366. Yang Wu, Dongfang Chen, Wen Chongqiao, Yugo, and Sangchenxiang worked together to break the formation. This divine formation had been through so many years that its power was not as strong as before. There were also some flaws. As long as they had enough trump cards, breaking the formation would not be a problem. If the divine array hadn't been damaged, even a god-level creature would have died if they had entered. This was a top-notch divine formation. Leader Yang Wu, you guard the left, I'll guard the right. Brother Wen and Brother Yu will guard the back. Chen Xiang, you can fill in at any time or teleport us together, Dongfang Chen commanded. Even though Yang Wu was the leader of the Wu Ho camp, he was also a top-notch heaven general like Dongfang Chen. His status was similar, and the others were all Dongfang Chen's friends. Yang Wu was only responsible for coordinating the operation, so he naturally wouldn't be the leader. Yang Wu and the others stood in position. They chose the location of the formation's flaw and rushed in at the same time. Yang Wu did not dare to hold back. He opened his soul eye and looked at the crisscrossing formation patterns to avoid going to the wrong place. At the same time, he condensed the metamagnet sword finger in his left and right hands and began to interfere with the formation's power to prevent it from killing them. On the other side, Dongfang Chen did not have the same ability as Yang Wu. He took out a battle sword and attached the metamagnet ray's power to interfere with the formation's power and give them space to move forward. When Chong Chao and Yugo each held an array-breaking flag and poured their energy into it, protecting the five of them, Sangchenxiang took out a divine decree. With a single thought, they would be able to teleport out of this place. The teleportation divine decree was not only integrated with divine power but also the formation's power. It was a decree that could only be made by a divine formation master. These people had powerful backgrounds and each of them had their own trump cards. They moved forward step by step. The formation around them kept surging and could crush them at any time. Their expressions were solemn as they felt the boundless pressure. It was as if they were not facing a divine formation but the power of a god. As they ventured deeper, the pressure became even greater. If they were the slightest bit careless, something could happen to them. At this time, Yang Wu's soul eyes flashed and he glanced in Dongfang Chen's direction. There was an extremely thin line of formation that was not disturbed by his magnetic force and was still there. Seeing that Dongfang Chen was about to touch it, he reached out and pulled Dongfang Chen back. Be careful, there's a dark line under your feet. Dongfang Chen was startled. He quickly looked down and saw an imperceptible array pattern under his feet. He almost touched it and was scared out of his wits. Thank you for your reminder, Chief Yang Wu. Dongfang Chen wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. There are many hidden lines around here. Everyone, pay attention. As long as we can hold on for another 5 meters, we will be completely safe," Yang Wu said. At this moment, everyone had also noticed that Yang Wu had opened his third eye. They were immediately convinced by his words and began to pay more attention to their surroundings. Just as they were about to pass through the 5 meters, a force suddenly rushed towards Sang Chenxiang's position. She screamed in fright and tore the teleportation divine decree, leaving this place. It was also when she was about to leave, whether it was intentional or not, she bumped into Yugo, causing Yugo to lose his balance and collide with the power of the formation pattern beside him. Yugo's mind instantly went blank. "It's over! Follow me!" Yang Wu's voice rang out. He grabbed Yugo with a backhand grip and other forces wrapped around Dongfang Qin. When Chong rushed forward, at the same time, he released the magnetic force from his body, delaying the power of the array that was surging towards them. Plop! Yang Wu took the 3 of them and directly rushed out of the divine array. As soon as they fell out of the divine array, a terrifying force came crashing down on them from the spot they had just left, making up for the flaw in the array. If they had been a little slower, they would have been obliterated by this force. The 4 of them broke out in cold sweat at the same time. Yugo cursed, "Sang Chenxiang, that bitch, I want her to die a horrible death." His loss of position just now was caused by Sang Chenxiang's collision. He hated Sang Chenxiang to death. The others' expressions were not good either. They had hoped that Sang Chenxiang would use the teleportation divine decree to take them away at the critical moment. Who knew that this woman would leave alone without caring about their lives? Perhaps she had done it on purpose just now to attract the power of the divine array to strangle them. "We must avenge this," Wen Chong Chao shouted in a deep voice. "It's all thanks to leader Yang Wu. Otherwise we would have all died here." Dongfang Chen came back to his senses and cupped his hands towards Yang Wu. "Since I came in with you, this is what I should do," Yang Wu said indifferently, but he remembered Sang Chenxiang in his heart. Whether Wen Chong Chao and Yugo liked Yang Wu or not, they also cupped their hands towards him to express their gratitude. "Okay, let's hurry up and see what opportunities there are in this temple." Dongfang Chen cheered up. "There's no need to look. Our opponents are here," Yang Wu said with a dignified expression. When Chong Chao and Yugo looked around, sure enough, they saw a group of people rushing towards them. "Kill the invaders!" An emotionless voice rang out. It was a group of cavalrymen wearing ancient armor. They were all riding on stone horses and carrying battle weapons as they rushed over. This group of cavalry had a total of 36 riders. Their bodies were surrounded by a murderous aura, and their battle aura soared into the sky. They rushed over like the wind, and their battle weapons erupted with terrifying power that enveloped the few of them. These 36 riders were all at the level of divine generals. When they attacked together, the deterrent force was too strong. Fight or run? Dongfang Chen couldn't help but ask Yang Wu. He automatically ignored Wen Chong Chao and Yugo. One of them was an advanced divine general, while the other was an intermediate divine general. They were much weaker than the 2 of them. "They are full of treasures." Yang Wu's eyes glowed. He recognized that these 36 riders were wearing top-notch divine armors and wielding top-notch divine weapons. If they were all killed, these would be a fortune. Without waiting for Dongfang Chen to reply, the attacks of the 36 riders had already landed. Yang Wu didn't wait for them to reply and took the initiative to rush into the group of 36 riders. The combined strength of these 36 riders could kill a half-step reaching Heaven Realm expert, and could even shake an ordinary reaching Heaven Realm expert. Only Yang Wu had the courage to take the initiative to deal with them. "I'll take my leave." When Chong Chao didn't dare to face these attacks, he turned around and quickly left. Yugo also wanted to leave, but Dongfang Chen said to him, "The contract is mutually beneficial. No one knows what dangers there will be after separating. You can't deal with it." Yugo swallowed his saliva and said, "Then stay." Thus, Dongfang Chen and Yu Go charged towards the 36 riders at the same time. However, before they could get close to the 36 riders, they heard a series of explosions, which gave them a fright. Bang! Bang! The explosions continued, and with each explosion, a rider was sent flying. In a few blinks of an eye, the 36 riders were all blown up. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go were both dumbfounded. The attacks of the 36 riders were so terrifying that they had to take out their divine weapons to be able to resist. Now, Yang Wu had blown up the 36 riders with an unstoppable force. Their divine weapons were useless. In the next moment, Yang Wu put them all into his Qianquan space and said happily, "These puppets are not bad. I hope there will be a few more waves." Dongfang Chen and Yu Go were in a mess. Why was there such a big gap between people? What's wrong with you? Quickly go and see if there are any other puppet teams. Yang Wu looked at Dongfang Chen and Yu Go. Okay. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go came back to their senses and replied. Previously, Dongfang Chen wanted to compete with him in terms of magnetic force to see who was stronger. Yu Go even more recklessly challenged the other party, and was almost beaten to death. In his heart, he said with tears streaming down his face, "Leader Yang Wu is truly a good person. He gave me face on the stage and didn't kill me with a single punch." This was not the only group of puppets. There were quite a few groups of puppets wandering around the area. There were a total of 108 riders, scattered in different directions to guard the temple. There were some broken limbs and corpses everywhere. Some of the corpses were still bleeding. It was obvious that they had died not long ago. Some had died a lot and had already turned into dried corpses. The puppet mounts here were not complete. Some had been destroyed by others, leaving only the majority to continue guarding here. This was only the outermost team of the temple. They had not yet entered the temple's gate. Yang Wu was not in a hurry to go in. This Taiping temple had existed for so many years. Those who could enter had already entered, and those who could not enter. It was unknown whether the inheritance was still there. First, he would take these puppets that others looked down on. It should be said that he was interested in the puppets' equipment. Many creatures who came here only wanted to quickly enter the temple's inheritance. These puppets' equipment were nothing in their eyes. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go also wanted to help, but Yang Wu did not need them. With a simple punch, he broke the puppet's forehead and took it down. After a while, Yang Wu collected more than 50 puppets and more than 50 sets of equipment. Each set was worth a lot. Yang Wu looked at Dongfang Chen and Yu Go with some embarrassment. "Sorry, I forgot to leave a few puppets for you. If there are any later, you can go first." No, as long as you like it," Dongfang Chen hurriedly responded. At this time, he already regarded Yang Wu as a leader. He no longer just regarded Yang Wu as a divine general. "I think so. We came together, so we should get something together," Yang Wu responded. He then looked at Yu Go and said, "Don't you think so? Haha, Leader Yang Wu is right. We are willing to serve you." Yu Go clearly misunderstood Yang Wu's meaning. He thought that Yang Wu wanted them to take the lead. Not long after, they wanted to cry. Chapter 1367. When Yang Wu, Dongfang Chen, and Yu Go entered the temple, puppets appeared once again. However, these puppets were not as strong as the ones outside. Instead, they were puppets of a higher level. Each of them was half-step into the divine realm, and the ones leading them were true divine realm puppets. They wore exquisite armor and rode stone wolves. They patrolled the temple and did not allow any living creatures to enter. Previously, when Chongqiao, who had left the team with them, was besieged by several puppets and was about to be crippled. When he saw Yang Wu and the others come in, he hurriedly cried out, "Please lend me a hand." He was wearing a divine armor and carrying a divine weapon, yet he was still no match for these puppets. It was clear how powerful these puppets were. "Alright, I'll let you guys go first this time. Otherwise, you'll say that I'm eating alone," Yang Wu said to Dongfang Chen and Yu Go. Dongfang Chen's face fell instantly, and Yugo wanted to cry. These puppets were obviously much stronger. They had no chance of winning. However, since Yang Wu had spoken, they did not dare to delay. They carried their weapons and charged at the puppets. Fortunately, there were not many puppets, so there was still some room to deal with them. They each used their own methods and engaged in a fierce battle with the puppets. Yang Wu began to size up the situation of the temple. He found that more than half of the temple had collapsed, and only a small part of it remained. The fact that the puppets were still here was a blessing in disguise. The temple was very large. There were 3 main halls and 33 side halls. They were built in a picturesque disorder. The halls were connected by arrays, forming an array within the hall. In front of them was only the front hall. If they wanted to enter the other halls, they still needed to pass through the arrays between the halls. In addition, Yang Wu found that these arrays were very strange. They did not seem to be a peerless array that was deliberately set up. Instead, they seemed to be natural arrays that were intertwined with power. He was not an array master, so he could not understand the profoundness of these arrays. These powers don't seem to be the power of a divine array. It's too strange, Yang Wu thought to himself. At this time, Dongfang Chen, Yugo, Wen Chongqiao, and the others were being beaten by the puppets. Their strength wasn't weak. With the help of divine weapons, they could fight against half-step deity-level creatures. Unfortunately, they weren't of one mind, fighting separately. It was difficult for them to pose a threat to those puppets. When Dongfang Chen finally got rid of a puppet, Wen Chongqiao, this villain, lured another puppet over, and he took the opportunity to slip away again. Wen Chongqiao, once we get out of here, I swear I'll kill you, Dongfang Chen roared. Yugo, who was at the side, had already been beaten to tears. His abdomen had been pierced by the puppet, and his shoulder had been blasted apart by the puppet. He felt that he was about to die. Charge for what? Charge! Yugo shouted regretfully. Just as the puppet's battle spear was about to pierce his glabella, a long whip lashed out, and the puppet's glabella exploded, no longer causing any damage. Yang Wu held a dragon vine whip and said calmly, "You guys are really weak. It's hard to get lucky like this." Yugo was so shy that she wanted to die. He had been in the Divine Firmament battlefield for more than 10 years, and this was the first time he was looked down upon by someone. On the other side, Dongfang Chen was fighting against 2 enemies at the same time. He was also in danger. He only managed to escape after Yang Wu intervened. At this moment, he was full of admiration for Yang Wu's combat strength. Yang Wu didn't have time to pay attention to him. He waved the dragon vine whip leisurely, and streaks of dragon-shaped battle aura roared. The terrifying aura of a dragon crashed into the puppets' glabella, killing them one by one. One of the puppets that hadn't made a move all this time finally moved. He said in a hoarse voice, "Kill all intruders." This puppet was extremely powerful. It held a spear, a defensive shield, a battle sword, and a battle bow on its back. It was clearly an all-rounder. The puppet's spear attacked. Light and shadow flowed, and its battle intent was shocking. It landed in front of Yang Wu's chest in the blink of an eye. Just as Yang Wu was about to be stabbed, the black tortoise battle armor appeared on his body. It reversed the defensive battle aura and deflected the power of the spear. Without waiting for Yang Wu to counterattack, the puppet smashed the battle shield toward Yang Wu's head like a battle weapon. Such a continuous and fierce attack made Dongfang Chen and Yugo's hearts palpitate. If it were them, the other party could kill them in one strike. Yang Wu couldn't retreat in time. The black tortoise battle armor was smashed. The huge impact shattered the armor, and the remaining force made him retreat continuously. This was the power of a god-level living being. Yang Wu hadn't recovered his battle strength to the Starline realm, and the defensive power of the black tortoise battle armor wasn't strong enough. However, this attack didn't injure him. He felt that his physical body's resistance had exceeded the limit. It was even higher than his original great success, Saint Physique. Perhaps it could be said to be a perfect saint physique, and not just a great success. Yang Wu's confidence increased greatly. He held the dragon vine whip and swung it out, entangling the puppet's battle spear. The double-blade triple dragon spear appeared and pierced the puppet's forehead. Clank! The puppet reacted quickly and blocked Yang Wu's attack with its battle shield. At the same time, the puppet waved its arms, releasing power from its battle spear and battle shield. It used a violent method to meet Yang Wu head-on. Bang! Bang! The two of them clashed together continuously. It was like a fierce battle between a dragon and a tiger. It was very exciting. Not far away, two people were watching the battle and commenting on it. Who is this person? He actually has such combat strength? Could it be someone from another ancient city? A rough man wearing lion armor doubtfully asked. There is only one ancient city near the barren wasteland. Look over there, it's Dongfang Chun and Yu Go. They came together, so they must be people from our ancient city palace. Perhaps they are new generals. The gloomy man with a bloody blade on his back replied. No matter who he is a retard. These puppets are inanimate objects. As long as we restrain our aura, they won't be able to find us. Why waste so much time here? The rough man said. He paused for a moment and said, Let's go to the other palaces to take a look. Okay. The gloomy man replied and left with them. When they left, Yang Wu glanced at their original position and focused on fighting the puppets. He felt the changes in his body's strength. It was really much stronger than before. He needed this battle to consolidate his foundation and break through to the celestial rune realm as soon as possible. As long as he returned to the celestial rune realm, he would be able to do many things. Yang Wu was continuously beaten back by the puppets. Even if there were wounds on his body, they would be immediately healed. This was the benefit of activating his immortal root. In the end, he used a trick to restrain his aura. It was as if he had disappeared in front of the puppets. He didn't let the puppets feel any life force and shattered the puppet's forehead in one fell swoop, obtaining victory. Yang Wu hurriedly took off all of the puppet's equipment and put it on himself. So heavy. This is really good stuff. Now I feel safe. Not far away, Dongfang Chen and Yu Go were dumbfounded. They felt that Yang Wu was like a bandit. He didn't even let go of the puppet's clothes. He was too beastly. It had to be said that after Yang Wu put on the ancient armor, he looked much more formidable. He said to Dongfang Chen and Yu Go, What are you guys standing there for? Quickly go into the palace and see if there are any good things. Could it be that you want to leave them all for me? Leader Yang Wu is joking. We respect you. Yu Go spoke first. Yes, we follow Leader Yang Wu. Dongfang Chen said. You guys are very good. Then let's go into the palace and take a look. Yang Wu said with a satisfied smile. Thus, they stepped into the front hall. In front of the main hall, there were 4 big words carved, Taiping Temple. Among them, the word temple was almost shattered. They could only vaguely make out these 2 words. The left and right pillars and the door were all torn down. Yang Wu said sadly, These beasts didn't even let go of the door ornaments. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go nodded in agreement. After they stepped into the palace, they cursed again. Because the corridor tiles on the ground were also hollowed out, it was obvious at a glance that it was done by the creatures who came in before them. Anything of value in the hall had been swept clean. It seems that there's nothing in this palace. Yu Go was extremely disappointed. Dongfang Chen smiled bitterly and said, We risked our lives to come here and didn't even see a strand of hair. It's really heartbreaking. You're wrong. There really is a strand of hair here. Yang Wu responded from the side and swept towards an ancient well with big strides. Then, he wiped his hands and grabbed into the ancient well. The next moment, he fished out a strand of hair. This was a gray feather without any luster. It blended into the dark well, making it difficult to discover its existence. Perhaps even if its existence was discovered, no one would care. How much could a gray feather count for? Dongfang Chen and Yu Go were speechless. There was indeed a strand of hair here. They had no interest in this strand of hair. At a glance, they knew that it was just a strand of hair dropped by a bird or beast. What use could it have? Yang Wu, however, felt that it was different. He felt a faint underworld aura from this feather. There weren't many birds that could touch the underworld aura. Lunar bird? Or 9 secret underworld bird? Yang Wu thought in his heart. He didn't think much about it and put the feather away. Perhaps it would be of great use. Even if it wasn't, he could take it back and make a feather fan for the beautiful military advisor. However, just as he threw it into the Qianquan space, the innate phoenix fan automatically appeared with the flames of a phoenix and burned the gray feather. After the gray feather was stimulated, it finally displayed its ability. The figure of a gray bird appeared. Yo-yo! This was a 9 secret underworld bird, the natural enemy of the phoenix. The 9 secret underworld bird was a divine bird in the underworld. It specialized in the energy of the underworld, while the phoenix specialized in the energy of the extreme yang. The two were exactly opposite of each other. When placed together, they would repel each other. He also found that the firepower of the phoenix fan couldn't do anything to this gray feather at all. On the contrary, this feather extinguished a lot of the firepower and even destroyed the phoenix fan. Even a strand of hair is a divine object. This trip was worth it. Chapter 1368. There were many uses for the feathers of top-level birds. They could be used as fan soldiers, formation-breaking soldiers, warship heads, or even martial weapons. Yang Wu wouldn't tell Dongfang Qin and Yu Go about the feathers of the nethermost bird. Anyway, they had seen it and didn't know what kind of feathers they were. The front hall of the Taiping Temple was really scrape. They didn't get anything except for a feather. They had to go to the other halls to know if they could get anything. Since they were already here, they didn't want to leave. Dongfang Qin and Yu Go had learned their lesson. Wherever Yang Wu went, they would follow. At least their lives were guaranteed. After all, Yang Wu wasn't the kind of person who would hit someone when they were down. They weren't worried that he would attack them. There were still formations between the halls. They still had to pass through carefully, otherwise it would be easy for something to happen. They went through 3 halls in a row. There was really nothing left in each hall. It was too clean. They couldn't help but feel like turning around and leaving. When they went to the 4th hall, they felt more and more pressure. This was the pressure from the temple. The deeper they went, the stronger this feeling became. The power of the formation flowing here was more majestic, and there were fewer flaws. Dongfang Qin suddenly exclaimed, "This isn't the power of divine techniques, it's the power of divine chains." "What's the power of divine chains?" Yang Wu asked, puzzled. Yu Go said with a pale face, "Could it be this is a divine palace?" Dongfang Qin pointed at the flowing divine power and said with a dignified expression, "Look carefully. These formation patterns are different from the usual ones. They're flowing like chains. They're not real formation patterns, but they're definitely divine chains." "What's a divine chain?" Yang Wu asked again. "You don't know about divine chains?" Dongfang Qin looked at Yang Wu in surprise and asked. Yang Wu said with a blank face, "Should I know?" Dongfang Qin and Yu Go both looked at Yang Wu as if they had seen a ghost. They really didn't understand how this guy who didn't even know about divine chains could be so powerful. Could it be that he was really lucky to have such strength? The Jade Moon Realm is also called the Heaven Ascension Realm. It can also be called the God Realm, but it's actually the false God Realm. You know that, right? Of course I understand. Then do you know what is the realm above the Jade Moon Realm? It seems to be called the Nine Suns Realm? That's right. The Nine Suns Realm, also known as the Nine Palaces Realm, is the true God Realm. Upon reaching this realm, one must cultivate divine palaces. Only after cultivating 9 divine palaces and transforming them into 9 suns can one become a true god. The divine palaces are formed by divine chains. The so-called divine chains are the true God's understanding of divine power. They are the martial Tao chains that they have cultivated with their entire lives. Then, they are refined with rare materials to construct the divine palaces and become a true God. You mean to say that this is the divine palace of a Nine Suns realm true God? And the power of these divine arrays is actually the power of the divine chains? Yang Wu asked. Dongfang Chen nodded seriously. I can't be wrong. At first, I didn't notice it, but after coming here, the divine chains are too obvious. We've entered a divine palace. How is that possible? You also said that the divine palace is a place of divine energy formed by the divine power of a true God. Then, where did the palace we are in come from? It can't be that a true God took this palace into his divine palace, right? Hugo continued, it's just as you said. This divine palace was taken into the divine palace by a true God. Divine palaces are the same as universe spaces. They can hold anything, so naturally they can hold their own divine palaces, Dongfang Chen said. Alright, Yang Wu realized that he really did seem like an idiot. In the transcendent realm, he had only come into contact with Jade Moon realm powerhouses. He had never come into contact with creatures beyond that realm. The strongest he had seen was the Saint Clan's Douyin, or his master, but they hadn't reached the true God realm. His master had never mentioned that realm to him. Because of this, he didn't know about the existence of the divine chains. So that's how it is. Yang Wu suddenly understood. He then asked, is there a way to break it? Dongfang Chen explained, the divine chains are the true God powerhouse's understanding of martial arts. Unless you can comprehend his martial arts and resonate with it, or you can directly absorb the divine chains for your own use, it's impossible to break the power of the divine chains. In other words, you have to comprehend his martial arts to receive his inheritance? That's pretty much it. Every true God of the Nine Sun realm is a supreme existence. How can their lifetime of martial arts be so easy to comprehend? Let's give up and think of a way to continue forward. If we can enter the center of his divine palace, we might be able to obtain his divine treasures. Don't think about it blindly. With such terrifying divine chains remaining here, the divine chains in his divine treasure will be even stronger. We can't even get close. At this time, Yang Wu opened his soul eye and looked at the divine chains. He began to observe the patterns of the divine chains. He always felt that the way the divine chains flowed was a little familiar. It seemed to be related to a certain martial arts that he cultivated. Suddenly, he saw that the divine chains formed a torrential river power. The river power kept gathering and formed a vast ocean. Wave after wave of water soared into the sky, forming a peerless spear art. It rushed into the sky and caused a terrifying destructive power. Yang Wu couldn't help but be a little dazed. Dongfang Chen and Hugo looked at the motionless Yang Wu. Their faces were instantly filled with shock. They exclaimed in their hearts, could it be that he has seen through the divine chain's martial arts? The two of them didn't dare to make a sound. They were afraid to disturb Yang Wu. Fortunately, they were in the temple and no other creatures came to disturb them. Otherwise, Yang Wu wouldn't be able to observe the power of martial arts in peace. Not long after, the double-blade triple dragon spear appeared in Yang Wu's hand. He began to brandish it. Spear shadows shot out one after another, turning into waves one after another, rushing in all directions. Dongfang Chen and Hugo were so frightened that they hurriedly hid far away, afraid of being affected. After a while, Yang Wu actually stepped into the divine chains. The two of them were so shocked that their eyes almost popped out. The divine chains were the power of a true God powerhouse. It was his martial arts law. Any one of them could kill a powerful creature. Yang Wu was courting death. Dongfang Chen couldn't help but shout, "Leader Yang Wu, wake up!" He felt that Yang Wu must have gone mad. That was why he recklessly stepped into the divine chains. However, Yang Wu didn't seem to hear him. He stepped into the divine chains and wasn't killed by the power of the divine chains. Instead, he moved with the power of the divine chains and used an exquisite battle skill. It was really unbelievable. Luo Water Spear Art. This was the battle skill Yang Wu was using right now. It wasn't the Rebel Dragon Spear technique that was unique to the Yang clan. When he saw the martial arts contained in the divine chains, he realized that it was very similar to the Luo Water Spear technique. Only then did he remember the Luo Water Spear technique. He obtained it from the divine treasury under the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. He was very familiar with this spear technique. It was a spear technique that he often used other than the Rebel Dragon Spear technique. It was a top saint technique. After he entered the divine chains to cultivate, his understanding of this spear technique grew rapidly. He condensed the spear intent and quickly condensed the way of the Luo water. This was the martial arts of the divine chains. After Yang Wu comprehended the way of the Luo water, he gradually woke up. When he found that he had entered the divine chains, he almost fainted from fright. Earlier, he fell into the divine chains because he was guided by the martial arts law. He didn't go in willingly. Fortunately, he comprehended the way of the Luo water. Otherwise, the power of the divine chains would have killed him. He rushed out of the divine chains and patted his chest, saying, "You scared me to death. Leader Yang Wu, you comprehended the divine Tao law." Dongfang Chen rushed over and asked in amazement. Yu Go also looked at Yang Wu with an expression of worship. He almost knelt down and licked his feet. Yang Wu shook his head and said, "It's not that easy. It's just that there are some similarities with the martial arts I cultivate. That's why I comprehended it a little." The two of them could accept Yang Wu's explanation. If Yang Wu directly comprehended the divine Tao law, they didn't want to live anymore. In their respective realms, they were first-rate martial arts prodigies. They didn't want their confidence to be completely destroyed by Yang Wu. "All right, I'll take you to the next hall," Yang Wu said seriously. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go were completely at ease with Yang Wu. They followed him through the power of the divine chains. Just now they saw Yang Wu enter the divine chains. He could easily come out, so it shouldn't be difficult to pass through here. Sure enough, under Yang Wu's lead, they easily entered the fourth hall. After reaching the fourth hall, they finally saw other creatures. There were old monsters of the Spirit Yao clan, powerhouses of foreign races, monsters of the Demon clan, and experts of the Human clan. They all fought fiercely for the things in the hall. There were wind chimes hanging in the hall. There were cases on display, zither, and a huge broken bell. There were quite a few things left. "This wind chime is mine. Don't even think about taking it." A female monster roared. Powerful Yao Qi filled the air, and her claws reached for the small wind chime hanging on the wall. Another powerhouse of the foreign race grabbed the case on the jade cabinet, preparing to take the jade cabinet as well. The Demon clan's main target was the broken bell, while the human powerhouses went for the zither. In addition, there were a few other odds and ends, all of which were quite valuable. These fellows attacked with all their might, and their destructive power was astonishing, but they couldn't destroy the hall. There were only a dozen or so creatures here, and most of them were beyond the saint realm. They were at least demigods. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go saw a familiar figure. Bloodblade camps, Bloodblade camps, Bloodblade camps, Mad Lion camps, Mad Lion camps, Mad Lion camps, Mad Lion. They're here too. In addition to the two of them, Wen Chongqiao was also here. However, he didn't make a move. Instead, he hid to the side and picked up the odds and ends. Chapter 1369. A few more humans have come. "Let's kill them all first, then we'll split the spoils," a demon reminded. A foreign race member said, "I don't have any objections." "The weaker humans should die first," an old monster said. Yang Wu, Dongfang Chen, and Yu Go didn't think that their arrival would cause the other foreign race members to join forces. Blood Knife and Wild Lion were so angry that they were fuming. "You guys get out of here! Wild Lion glanced at Yang Wu and the other two and shouted. Let them join forces to kill the enemy, Blood Knife said calmly. Do you really think we're pushovers? Dongfang Chen was also a hot-blooded person. His power surged as he raised his sword and charged at one of the demons. Ever since he obtained the magnetic light, his confidence had greatly increased. He wasn't even afraid of a half-step deity. Yugo was weaker, but he knew that now wasn't the time to retreat. He braced himself and charged forward. Yang Wu, on the other hand, wasn't in a hurry to attack. He opened his soul eye and looked around. He quickly determined that this was a palace where a woman lived. There were many elegant things here. Yang Wu's eyes locked onto the bed. It was a jade bed. It was most likely made of an extraordinary jade stone. There were some scattered ornaments at the head of the bed. They looked very exquisite and dazzling. When Chong Chao also wanted to take those things. Unfortunately, there was a seal around them. Even if he had a divine weapon, he couldn't break it. I want these things, Yang Wu said with certainty. He had many women around him. These exquisite ornaments were perfect for them. These things were definitely extraordinary. They might have defensive properties, or they might be items of the universe. They might even be divine weapons. After all, how could a woman who had become a true god be weak? Leader Yang Wu, these are all yours. Please take them, Wen Chongqiao said politely. He didn't want to offend anyone here. He just wanted to quietly make a small fortune. Human Dai, the banshee who had just taken the wind chimes, shouted. She rushed over to grab Yang Wu. Yang Wu's reaction was extremely fast as he dodged the sneak attack. The demoness attacks did not slow down as she grabbed at Wen Chongqiao. Wen Chongqiao's reaction wasn't slow either. A divine shield appeared in front of him and blocked the demoness attack. I don't want anything. I'm leaving. When Chongqiao rolled on the ground, wanting to quickly leave this place. Unexpectedly, the woman's speed was astonishing. She arrived behind him and tore him into several pieces with her blade-like claws. This was a terrifying cat demon. Yang Wu saw it all, but he was expressionless. A villain like Wen Chongqiao was dead. He did not deserve any sympathy. The cat demon licked her claws and said with a strong sense of hostility, Your yang qi is very abundant. I like it. Whoosh. She disappeared on the spot. When she reappeared, she was already behind Yang Wu, grabbing at the back of his neck. Yang Wu's reaction was very fast. He squatted down and slammed his body backwards. He used the back to the mountain move to push the female cat back. Don't provoke me. Otherwise, you'll die very quickly. Yang Wu warned. You have some skills, but you'll still die. The cat demon squatted on the ground and said as she wiped away the green light. In the next moment, she turned into an afterimage and charged at Yang Wu. She reached out with her claws and several claw lights tore at Yang Wu. She was a half-step demon immortal. She was very close to becoming a demon immortal. Her speed was also very fast. This kind of attack was not something a heavenly general could block. Only a heavenly monarch could block it. After Yang Wu activated his immortal root, he returned to the peak of the Little Dragon realm. Adding on the increase in his physical strength, he indeed had the battle strength of a heavenly monarch. I'll play with you. Yang Wu's eyes were filled with a strong battle intent. He shouted and stabbed out with the double-blade triple dragon spear. Luo Water Spear Technique. Yang Wu had entered the divine chains and obtained the Tao of Luo River. The might of his spear art was extremely abnormal. With a thrust of his spear, a Luo River surge appeared. The power of the surging waves of water surged towards the demon cat. Bang! The power of Luo water collided with the cat demon's power. The two forces exploded and the claw lights shattered. The river water continued to rush forward. Cat spirit steps. The cat demon's reaction was very fast. The moment the river water rushed towards her, she dodged and landed beside Yang Wu. She then attacked Yang Wu continuously. Yang Wu waved his battle spear, forming a rain of spears, blocking all the claws. These claws couldn't land on him at all, and they even broke through the claw aura and pierced the cat demon's body. This time, the cat demon could not dodge in time. She was slashed by the double-blade triple dragon spear. Fresh blood quickly seeped out. Meow. The cat demon screamed. Her evil aura became stronger. Then, she used her ultimate move. Cat's Eyes. A faint green light flashed and entered Yang Wu's celestial court, confusing Yang Wu. Cat Shadow. A series of shadows appeared and surrounded Yang Wu. The omnipresent claws tore at Yang Wu. Every claw was capable of tearing space apart. How could Yang Wu block it? The ancient armor on Yang Wu's body was very useful. Many of the claws landed on his back and blocked them. A series of clanking sounds rang out. So tough. Yang Wu laughed. He did not seem to be affected by the power of the cat's eyes at all. His mind was still very clear. Yang Wu would not allow himself to be attacked passively. His battle spear was like a dragon swinging its tail, ruthlessly whipping the cat demon. She felt the pain, her body bounced away, and she returned to her original form. A four-eyed cat demon appeared in front of Yang Wu. 4 rays of light shot towards Yang Wu at the same time. The terrifying eye light technique could kill a god realm expert. This was also the reason why she could reach the 4th palace. This was the fighting power of a demon god. Kill! Yang Wu roared. His battle spear swung left and right. Luo Shui rushed out and shattered the 4 rays of light. A ray of light penetrated and fell on him, but it was blocked by the ancient godly armor. The level of this ancient godly armor was not low. Yang Wu became braver and braver. He activated the speed of Wind God's legs and caught up with the cat demon's speed. He kept forcing her to meet force with force. She was hit until she felt pain. She realized that Yang Wu was not to be trifled with. Meow. The cat demon cried out a few times unwillingly and quickly escaped from the palace. On the other side, the battle continued. Blood Knife and Mad Lion's fighting power was very strong. They were not defeated by the demon race and the alien race respectively. However, it was not easy for them to seize the divine object. Dongfang Chen could barely resist the opponent's attack, but it was too difficult for him to win. Yugo joined the battle and fought together with Dongfang Chen. He did not want to face one of the opponents alone. If that happened, he would die. Yang Wu didn't care about them. He arrived in front of the bed and slashed out with the Big Dipper sword. The restriction power in this place instantly shattered. Soon, everything on the bed was collected by him. Amitba, I don't want to occupy your bed, but it's too wasteful to leave it here. I'll give it to my woman to sleep, Yang Wu said in his heart. Then, he glanced at the other things that were still left. His eyes locked on the broken bell. It was definitely a powerful weapon. Otherwise, the demon race creatures would not have tried so hard to seize it. Mad Lion also liked this broken bell very much. His goal was also to seize it. Unfortunately, he could not repel the demon race creatures in a short time. In addition, an ancient zither was taken away by the alien race creatures. It was a complete divine weapon. He had made a big profit. Yang Wu didn't immediately go for the broken bell. He also had a lesser soul bell in his divine court, which was suppressing Yu Huaijin's soul. That lesser soul bell wasn't any weaker than this broken bell. In fact, it was many times stronger. Yang Wu decided to save Dongfang Chen and Yu go first. Holding the double-edged 3-dragon spear, he turned into a torrential river and crashed into the alien race creature that was fighting Dongfang Chen and Yu go. Yang Wu's powerful intervention gave the foreign race creature a big fright. Fortunately, he dodged quickly, otherwise Yang Wu's spear would have been enough to kill him. However, he could dodge one move, but he could not dodge the next. Netherworld Ice-Winged Blade. An invisible attack suddenly shot out. Even a god-tier creature would not be able to easily detect its existence. Pooh! A large head was chopped off. Yang Wu did not hesitate to put away the corpse to avoid wasting valuable things. Bastard, you dare to kill my companion. I'll kill you. The alien race creature that had obtained the ancient zither shouted loudly. He broke free from Bloodblade's entanglement and attacked Yang Wu. The pressure on Bloodblade relaxed. He did not care about the alien race creature and joined forces with Mad Lion to seize the broken bell. I'll send you to see him. Yang Wu sneered, and an electric fork field suddenly appeared. Rumble, rumble. An incomparably domineering lightning power wreaked havoc here. It scared the alien race creature so much that he stopped and quickly retreated. Evil guy, I'll remember you. The alien race creature said ruthlessly and immediately fled. He cultivated the power of wood, so he was most afraid of this kind of lightning power. Moreover, there were many opportunities here, so he did not want to fight to the death with Yang Wu. Yang Wu had deliberately activated the electric fork magnetic field. He could see the power that the other party cultivated, so he used a power that countered the other party. He didn't expect that the other party would be so cowardly and be scared away. You two quickly look around and see if you can find anything, then go elsewhere. Yang Wu said to Dongfang Chen, and you go. Yes, leader Yang Wu. The two responded happily, then quickly searched the place to see if there was anything else that could tempt them. Needless to say, the two of them really did find something. Dongfang Chen obtained an ancient box which contained a divine pearl of extraordinary value. Yu Go, on the other hand, obtained a small flag, which was also a divine flag with considerable power. Yang Wu obtained a mirror from the case. This mirror did not seem to have any power, but after it was injected with energy, it could see the situation in the entire fourth palace. Every room, every corner, and every living creature that had lived here in the past appeared in the mirror. This was a surveillance divine mirror. Chapter 1370. The Fourth Side Palace. There was a palace, 3 courtyards, and more than a dozen rooms. The decorations were very elegant, and it was where the woman lived. After Yang Wu obtained the divine surveillance mirror, he was able to see everything clearly. Furthermore, he quickly locked onto a house not far away. There were many divine items stored there. It should be the woman's study. There were many books and some female weapons hanging there. There was a powerful puppet guarding the door. Now the cat demon had rushed to the room and was fighting with the puppet. This puppet was more powerful than the ones Yang Wu encountered outside. It was at least a creature close to the mid-level god level. The cat demon couldn't do anything to him at all. Instead, she was beaten back. There were many corpses in front of the room. Obviously, they were creatures who wanted to enter the study and were killed by the puppet. Yang Wu didn't hesitate to change his location and quickly went to the study. Be careful. Yang Wu transmitted his voice to Dongfang Chen and Yu Go. The two didn't dare to stay here and quickly caught up with Yang Wu. Yang Wu was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he got rid of them. The study was very important. Yang Wu had to take it. Yang Wu didn't rush in blindly. Instead, he restrained his aura and approached. At this time, the cat demon had already retreated. The puppet's combat power was too strong. Its perception was also very strong. Even if she restrained her aura, it could still sense her presence. However, the puppet only attacked creatures close to the study. If they didn't come close, they wouldn't be attacked. This was also the reason why the cat demon was still alive. When Yang Wu came over, the cat demon's 4 eyes noticed his presence. Her pupils shrank, and she even put away her hostility. Meow, you and I can kill it together? You don't have the right. Get out of here. Yang Wu scolded. The cat demon showed a look of dissatisfaction. It was also at this time that the nether ice-winged blade slashed at her. The cat demon's 4 eyes could see through all nothingness. Light burst out of her eyes and blocked the nether ice-winged blade. The cat demon was really afraid of Yang Wu, so she turned around and ran away. Yang Wu did not stop him. In his eyes, everything in the study was the most important. He did not recklessly approach it. Instead, he carefully observed the puppet, looking for its weakness. The puppet was wearing a full set of ancient armor, and its helmet covered the space between its eyebrows tightly, covering all its fatal weaknesses. It would not be easy for Yang Wu to kill it. What should I do? Yang Wu thought to himself. Soon, he came up with a solution. The deity's striking whip could penetrate the godly armor and strike the space between the opponent's eyebrows, breaking the opponent's puppet power. Yang Wu summoned the god's corpse. This god corpse puppet was the one he had killed and controlled in Xiangjiang realm. Even though it couldn't compare to the puppet in front of him, it was definitely capable of creating opportunities for him. Yang Wu handed a divine weapon to the god's corpse, and the god's corpse charged forward with it. The puppet sensed the intruder and charged over. This puppet was like a human-shaped dragon. It was extremely fast, and its attacks were extremely domineering. It faced the god's corpse's sword and punched it head-on, sending the god's corpse flying. The difference between the two was just too great. Deity striking whip! Yang Wu roared. He took out the deity's striking whip and struck the puppet's forehead between its eyebrows. An invisible soul power attack whipped toward the puppet. The puppet did not seem to be affected. It raised its hand and directly slapped the deity's striking whip down. Yang Wu was instantly speechless. Fortunately, he did not get close. Otherwise, he would have been killed by this puppet. This was definitely a mid-level god-tier puppet. Furthermore, it was fully armed and difficult to deal with. Sacred mandala flower, tie it up for me. Yang Wu did not believe that he could not deal with a puppet. If the puppet did not leave the study, it would be less of a threat. He had to take it down. The sacred mandala flower was already capable of reaching the god tier. It was getting stronger and stronger. Its vines were extremely tough. Perhaps it could cause some trouble for the puppet. Yang Wu did not let her just charge over. He handed the dragon vine whip to her so that she could use it to tie the puppet up at the critical moment. The sacred mandala flower did as she was told. The vines in the sky turned into whips and lashed out at the puppet. The puppet seemed to have intelligence. It said faintly, "Young Mrs. Study is an important place. No one can get close." It drew the ancient sword on its back and slashed out. Boundless sword shadows flashed and cut down all the vines. Yang Wu stared at this scene with his eyes wide open, and he felt a deep sense of powerlessness. The difference in strength was too great. No matter how many trump cards he had, it was useless. Demonic Shadow Needle Kill. Deity Striking Whip. Nether Ice Wing Slash. Yang Wu used all kinds of offensive talents, hoping to succeed. Clang. 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 All the attacks were blocked by the puppet. It was a puppet with a trace of willpower. It was a half-dead puppet. It was too strong. Half of Yang Wu's demonic shadow needles were shattered. The deity's striking whip was also cut in half. Even the Nether Ice Wing Slash was almost destroyed by the puppet. It was also at this time that 3 demons rushed over. What a terrifying puppet! I don't want the treasures here. Yang Wu pretended to retreat. He turned into an afterimage and left. The 3 demons were not stupid. They did not rush over to deal with the puppet. However, after they determined that there was a great treasure in the place the puppet was guarding, they could not help but attack. One by one, the demonic armaments enveloped the puppet. Many forces bombarded the puppet in an overwhelming manner. The combined forces of 3 beings comparable to demon gods were indeed very powerful. No matter how strong they were, they could not break through the puppet's defense. Moreover, their demonic weapons were destroyed by the puppet's ancient sword. This fella is covered in legendary items. I'll go hold him back and try my best to take down his helmet. When the time comes, you guys go all out to destroy him. One of the demonic race beings said. His body changed, and like a ball of sticky liquid, he tangled up with the puppet. Before he could even get close to the puppet, the ancient sword of the puppet had already slashed at his vitals, killing him instantly. Kill all foreign race beings. Show no mercy. The puppet roared out. To his surprise, it dashed out of the area it was guarding and charged towards the other 2 demonic race beings. It was as though there was a desire to kill foreign race beings in its consciousness. This was the reason why it had left the guarded ground. The other two demonic race beings were not afraid. They roared out and took out their weapons to clash with the puppet. These two demonic race beings were practically throwing eggs at a rock. They were no match for the puppet at all. The puppet slashed down with its sword, shattering their attacks and slashing their bodies. Yang Wu, who had not been far away all this while, struck out once more. Under the support of the sacred mandala flower, the dragon vine whip wrapped around the puppet from the ground. This time around, the puppet's reaction was slightly slower. Its body was bound by the dragon vine whip. Naturally, the puppet would not just sit there and wait for its death. It struggled, preparing to break free from the bindings. At the same time, the ancient sword in its hand slashed back, wanting to sever the dragon vine whip. The sacred mandala flower was giving its all. Countless layers of vines wrapped around the puppet. Even if the vines were being severed, it was still relentless in its attacks, buying Yang Wu a lot of time. "Good job, Xiao Man!" Yang Wu roared out and struck once more. Metamagnet sword finger. With the speed of lightning, Yang Wu dashed towards the puppet. Piercing out with his left and right fingers, two metamagnet sword fingers burst forth. Filled with destructive magnetic energy, they struck out at the glabella of the puppet. Bam! The first finger sent the other party's helmet flying. Bam! The second finger struck a vital point between the puppet's eyebrows, shattering the remnant willpower within. Yang Wu didn't stop there. He struck out with his fingers again and again, afraid that the puppet's willpower hadn't been destroyed. Yang Wu didn't stop until the puppet stopped struggling. Yang Wu felt a little weak. Using metamagnet sword fingers at full power consumed far too much energy. The sacred mandala flower was weak as well. She retracted her vines and said, "Master, this guy is too strong." If it wasn't strong, it wouldn't have been able to protect the study. It wouldn't have been able to keep so many powerhouses outside. Yang Wu laughed and put away the puppet. Just this one was enough to make him rich. Yang Wu put away the dragon vine whip as well. It could be of great use at a critical moment. The sacred mandala flower had used it to bind the puppet. Otherwise, the puppet would have been able to break free in an instant. Ordinary weapons couldn't compare to a connate weapon. After Yang Wu cleaned up the battlefield, he quickly rushed into the study. The study was very well preserved. There were many books on the bookshelves and the 4 treasures of the study in front of the desk. Every one of them was of the highest quality. The brush was made of divine wolf fur, and the inkstone was a piece of divine ink jade. There were still traces of ink left in them. A treasure of calligraphy was slowly unfurled. It hadn't even been fully unfurled yet. It was a beautiful painting. There were mountains, trees, and people. There was also a river that curved like a dragon. There were many buildings built along the river's bank. The painting was too beautiful. The scene in the painting seemed to enter his eyes. The mountains, rivers, and creatures seemed to be alive. Yang Wu couldn't recover for a long time. After Yang Wu woke up, he couldn't help but sigh. If this painting is finished, I'm afraid I'll be lost in it. It's hard to extricate myself. This painting has entered the Tao. He put away the painting and looked at the other treasures of calligraphy. He didn't open them and put them all away. Just as he was done, someone else arrived. Blood Knife, Kuang Shi, Dongfang Qin, and Yu Go came. After seeing them, Yang Wu frowned slightly. He could see that Dongfang Qin and Yu Go were threatened by Blood Knife and Kuang Shi. This could be seen from the ugly expressions on their faces. "You're Yang Wu, the leader of Wu Ho Battalion who replaced the Empress Battalion?" Blood Knife raised his scarlet eyes and looked at Yang Wu. "I'm Yang Wu," Yang Wu replied in a deep voice. Then he said to Dongfang Qin and Yu Go, "Come over here." Dongfang Qin and Yu Go didn't dare to move. They were afraid that if they moved, Blood Knife and Kuang Shi behind them would kill them. When did a divine general of the Heavenly Sword Battalion and a divine general of the Divine Arrow Battalion listen to you? Kwang Shi sneered. After a pause, he said, "Hand over all the treasures you got here. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving." "Are you threatening me?" Chapter 1371. Yang Wu was never someone who liked to be threatened. Kwang Shi's words touched his bottom line. "Hee hee, you can think of it that way," Kwang Shi sneered. "It seems that Brother Dongfang and you Go are both threatened by you. Let's see whose fist is bigger." Yang Wu replied with a sullen face and took a step forward to attack Kwang Shi. He didn't hold back as soon as he attacked, sending a magnetic sword finger towards Kwang Shi. The sharp metamagnetic sword finger's power was shocking. Mad Lion jumped in fright as he used the broken bell he had snatched to block the attack. Clang! The primary magnet sword finger landed on the broken bell, emitting a crisp sound as sparks flew in all directions. "Kill!" Yang Wu roared and slashed out with his left and right middle fingers. 2 magnetic sword fingers fell down. The terrifying sword light was extremely dazzling. Magnetic light. Bloodblade narrowed his eyes and exclaimed when he saw Yang Wu's attack. The magnetic pit had existed for countless years, but there were very few people who could collect the magnetic light. Previously there was Dongfang Chen, and now there was Yang Wu. Bloodblade felt very uncomfortable. As expected of the God Bell. "Even if it's broken, it's still incomparably hard, haha." Kwang Shi laughed wildly. He used the broken bell to block Yang Wu's magnetic sword finger completely. He was very pleased with himself, thinking that he had picked up a good item. However, soon, he couldn't laugh anymore. Bang! Under Yang Wu's continuous attacks, the broken bell was blasted apart. Kwang Shi's expression was extremely shocked. Impossible, impossible! Kwang Shi couldn't accept the fact that the broken bell had been destroyed by Yang Wu. His face was full of disbelief. Yang Wu continued to attack and slashed at Kwang Shi's head. As the leader of the Kwang Shi battalion, Kwang Shi wasn't weak. He wouldn't be so dispirited because of this and lose the ability to fight back. On the contrary, Yang Wu's actions angered him. "Give me back my broken bell, roar!" Kwang Shi roared and a terrifying sound wave came from his mouth. Lion's roar. This was the Berserk Lion's innate ability. Coupled with the sound wave battle technique that he had cultivated, the power he could unleash when the two of them worked together was truly terrifying. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go's strength were relatively weaker. They were shaken to the point of dizziness and directly collapsed to the ground. Bloodblade also used his power to protect his ears and soul, so that he wouldn't be affected. Yang Wu's metamagnet sword finger was stopped by the power of the sound wave. His ears were ringing, his blood energy was churning, and his soul was also attacked. However, all of this was within his tolerance range. After his body was purified by the immortal root, it was already extraordinary. However, his attack was hindered, and Mad Lion took the opportunity to attack again. Mad Lion Fist said. Kwang Shi seemed to have transformed into a lion demon. His fists were filled with the domineering aura of a king among beasts as he punched towards Yang Wu. The Lion King's fists were capable of intimidating all living beings. This was the battle prowess of the Mad Lion, the battle prowess of a leader. The strength of a half-step Tongtian was comparable to that of a Tongtian. Once he took half a step forward and reached the Jade Moon Realm, he could leave this battlefield. "I'll borrow your power to break through," Yang Wu shouted in his heart. He used all of his power to fight against his opponent. Zhenwu boxing. The power of his Dantian exploded in his 1,000 holes. Strands of Xian Qi that had become extremely different rushed into his meridians, increasing his battle prowess. After the immortal root awakened, this power carried a trace of immortal energy. The explosive power was many times stronger than before. Even if Yang Wu was only at the peak of the dragon transformation realm, with the power of his Xian Qi, he could ignore the power of a Saint Realm creature. He could fight against a half-step God Realm creature. This was the battle prowess of a favored child with an immortal root. Bang bang! The fists collided with each other, causing the space around them to crack. Mad Lion and Yang Wu fought speed with speed. Their attacks were astonishingly fast. Both of them wanted to end the battle as quickly as possible. Yang Wu's power exceeded Mad Lion's expectations. His well-trained arms felt numb. Even a saint weapon could not hurt his arms, but Yang Wu could make him feel pain. It was clear that his arms were not weaker than his own. In fact, they were even stronger. At the same time, another kind of energy that could devour Mad Lion's life force appeared. It was invisibly sucking away at his life force, causing him to panic. "I can't fight for a long time," Mad Lion cried out in his heart. He used his innate power. Lion hits the mountain. His shoulders sank, then suddenly enlarged. It was as if he had turned into a lion that was hitting a mountain. The sudden burst of power was shockingly strong. Yang Wu didn't pay attention for a moment and was directly sent flying by his shoulder. After Mad Lion's attack succeeded, he quickly chased after Yang Wu. A battle axe appeared in his hand. He chopped down at Yang Wu from the air. His eyes were red with anger, and his killing intent was astonishing. He swore to kill Yang Wu. He thought that Yang Wu was seriously injured and would not be able to recover in a short time. He was wrong. Lion Hits the Mountain was very strong, but it was not enough to seriously injure Yang Wu. Netherworld Ice-Winged Blade. The invisible sharp blade slashed towards Mad Lion, carrying with it an icy aura of the underworld. Mad Lion's body was full of defensive power. When the Netherworld Ice-Winged Blade slashed towards him, it was blocked by his defensive power. He dodged it in an extremely short time, avoiding this invisible attack. Yang Wu took advantage of the opportunity to jump up. His double-edged triple dragon spear was like a furious dragon, and a torrential river rushed up to the sky. Mad Lion was shocked by Yang Wu's sudden move. He directly used a donkey roll, narrowly dodging Yang Wu's spear. When Yang Wu attacked again, Bloodblade attacked. Bloodblade's power was like a crescent moon as it quickly slashed towards Yang Wu. Yang Wu changed his battle spear, and a blue light blocked the power of the crescent moon. He stared at Bloodblade with a ruthless expression and said, "Both of you, attack together. I'll get rid of you." In the next moment, his soul eye opened, and a terrifying soul light shot directly towards Bloodblade. Not good. Bloodblade had seen all kinds of dangers. The moment Yang Wu opened his soul eye, he knew that things were not good. He exploded with his fastest speed and retreated without any hesitation. Yang Wu's soul light was still a bit too slow. It did not directly shoot into Bloodblade's soul court. Otherwise, Bloodblade would have died without a doubt. Yang Wu did not think that Bloodblade's reaction would be so fast. He did not chase after him and looked at Mad Lion again. When Bloodblade left, Mad Lion also rushed into the sky at the same time. He did not dare to stay. "Do you think it's that easy to leave?" Yang Wu's soul eye attack missed again. He roared and shot out a magnetic sword finger. Mad Lion's buttocks were pierced by the magnetic sword finger, and he screamed in pain. Fresh blood flowed like a chrysanthemum blooming. It was a very sad and beautiful scene. This guy's ability to escape was also shocking. He did not stop at all and frantically fled far away. Yang Wu possessed the divine mirror of reflection, so he could see everything clearly. Unless they left this place, he would still be able to catch up. He did not do so. If he forced the other party into a corner, they might have some shocking methods. Otherwise, they would not have made it here alive. "Are you guys okay?" Yang Wu looked at Dongfang Qin and Yu Go and asked. Dongfang Qin said guiltily, "I'm sorry, Leader Yang Wu. We're fine. They just want to force us to be cannon fodder. We'd rather be cannon fodder for Leader Yang Wu than be cannon fodder for them," Yu Go replied. "Alright, you guys leave this place first. If you stay any longer, only death awaits." Yang Wu waved his hand and said, Then we won't be a burden. See you later." Dongfang Qin was very straightforward. He cupped his hands and turned to leave. Yugo hesitated for a moment before leaving with Dongfang Qin. It was difficult to enter, but it was easy to leave. The power of the divine chains only blocked outside creatures. They would not harm the creatures that left. After they left, Yang Wu continued to sweep through the fourth palace. This was a palace that had been kept intact. The things left behind were not the most valuable, but they were not low in value. He was delayed by the puppet and mad lion, which affected his time to collect the divine items here. A few potted plants were taken away by the cat demon and the foreign creatures. There were also some things left behind by the servants, but they were all taken away by them. Yang Wu did not steal their things. Instead, he rushed to the back flower courtyard. There were still many divine herbs there. He could not miss them. There were no guards in the back flower courtyard, but the divine herbs here had all become spirits. When Yang Wu arrived, they quickly hid. This was their instinctive self-protection method. Otherwise, they would have been taken away by other creatures. No matter how they hid, they could not escape the light of Yang Wu's divine mirror. He found them one by one. After Yang Wu collected these divine herbs, he quickly rushed to the fifth palace. There was still the power of the divine chains here. It was also the martial arts power left behind by the Nine Suns realm expert. Yang Wu did not rush over immediately. The power of the divine chains here was not the same as before. It should be the other martial arts power of the expert. If he wanted to pass through smoothly, comprehending the power of the divine court might be the fastest and safest way. Yang Wu sat down cross-legged and opened his soul eye. He stared at the flowing power of the divine chains. Soon, he noticed a clue. It was a palm technique. It was as if he saw a person standing in the ocean and fighting against the storm. Under the countless waves, he still stood up again and again to attack the tsunami. In the end, he completely shattered the power of the tsunami. Tsunami palm. The power of this palm technique was astonishing. It was a divine palm technique that could only be comprehended by someone who cultivated the power of water. Coincidentally, Yang Wu was a person who cultivated the water profound qi. He had a deep understanding of the water profound qi. He imitated the figure and kept attacking, one after another. It was as if a crazy tsunami of power had formed behind him. That astonishing heavenly might would make any living creature panic and feel that their lives were insignificant and easy to pass away. Yang Wu barged into the divine chains. The power in his body surged and he roared, "Tsunami palm!" The surging palm energy formed a tsunami that swept across a large area of the sea. Countless living beings were killed. The power of the divine chains is the greatest treasure in the Taiping Temple. Chapter 1372. The God chains were the martial arts laws cultivated by true gods of the Nine Suns realm. They were also known as God's Law. They were intertwined with Tao and reason. It was their understanding of martial arts. The Taiping Shrine was located in the divine palace of a true god of the Nine Suns realm. Countless god chains were like a divine formation that could easily kill any intruder. No one would think of comprehending the God's law of a true God from the God chains. After all, they were too far away from the true God realm. Only experts who had reached the late stage of the Jade Moon realm could touch such comprehension. Only then could they use the power of the God chains to comprehend the God's law of the true God realm. Yang Wu had awakened his immortal root. His soul power also had immortal qi. He also had the soul eye. He could completely see the God's law and obtain the martial arts inheritance of a true God of the Nine Suns realm. After Yang Wu obtained the Tao of Luo River, he also obtained the tsunami palm. He could even absorb the power of the God chains. When he discovered this, Yang Wu was completely stunned. If that was the case, wouldn't he be able to absorb all the God chains and become a true God of the Nine Suns realm? He quickly discovered that he could only absorb a little power. His realm was too low. It was impossible for him to absorb all the power of the God chains unless he comprehended all the God chains here. The divine palace was already damaged. The god chains left behind were incomplete. There were not many complete laws. It was impossible for Yang Wu to comprehend all of them. He was not disappointed. Instead, he sat down cross-legged and used the supreme 9 mystic arts to absorb all the power he could. The bottleneck at the peak of the dragon transformation realm was instantly broken. He broke through to the Star Rune realm. When he broke through to the Star Rune realm, he was unable to attract the power of the stars. This was a void land. There was a terrifying power that isolated heaven and earth. However, he was able to absorb the power of one of the god chains here. He directly added it to his dantian and branded it on the walls of his dantian. It became his first god chain. This works. Yang Wu was stunned. This was not the power he cultivated. It was actually added to his dantian. What should he do? Fortunately, it did not have too many adverse effects on his body. Otherwise, he would regret it to death. After the power of this divine chain entered his dantian, the power of the divine chain disappeared. There was no longer a barrier between the 4th and 5th level. Yang Wu quickly rushed into the 5th floor and swept through everything on the 5th floor. Take this stone tablet for me. This pillar is made of divine stone. Take it. There's a real dragon eye carved on it. It looks like a real dragon eye. Take it down. I'm rich. This is a divine beast skin. It's perfect for making a cloak. Yang Wu learned from his seniors and plundered everything of value on the 5th floor like a swarm of locusts. The living beings who rushed over from behind could only watch helplessly. At this time, Yang Wu had already arrived between the 5th and 6th halls. The 6th, 7th, and 8th halls had all been destroyed, leaving behind only the endless power of the divine chains. At the same time, Yang Wu also saw through the soul eye that there was a huge broken sword stuck in the ground. This broken sword had many divine chains entangling it. It was extremely tempting. Under the broken sword, there was a piece of sparkling flesh. The flesh had been air-dried, but it still looked very fresh. It was unbelievable. A huge broken sword that can be stuck here is probably a true divine weapon. Even if it's broken, it's still very sharp. It would be great if I could get it. Yang Wu sighed. At the same time, Bloodblade, Mad Lion, Cat Demon, and a few other living beings appeared nearby. There was quite a distance between them. They did not get too close, afraid that the other party would suddenly attack. Yang Wu smiled and pointed ahead. There's a broken sword there. Instantly, all the living beings held their breath. The next moment, Cat Demon exclaimed, "There's really a broken sword." Cat Demon had 4 eyes. Her vision was unparalleled. Her words made the other living beings believe her. It has nothing to do with me. I'm leaving. One of the living beings was not moved. He actually turned around and left. Bloodblade also said, "Mad Lion, let's go. That kind of divine weapon is not something we can touch." Mad Lion reluctantly left with Bloodblade. Cultivating to their level, none of them were fools. They knew what it meant to act according to one's strength. No matter how good the item was, it would be useless if they did not have the life to enjoy it. You've already passed through a few halls. Are you afraid of the divine chains here? Wait for me to take the broken sword. One of the living beings said in high spirit. He put on a divine robe and directly stepped into the divine chains. He flew towards the broken sword. This divine robe was extraordinary. It had the ability to block all attacks. It was refined from the skin of a special divine beast. This living being was able to come here because of this divine robe. The divine chains did not kill him. He did not dare to go too far. When he felt that he was a bit closer to the broken sword, he used a secret technique to call the broken sword to recognize him as its master. "Let me be your new master," the living being said confidently. Suddenly, the divine chains on the broken sword shook. They turned into a ray of sword chi and slashed towards the living being. No one could see the sword chi attack. They only saw a flash of light and the living being was cut in half. Yang Wu, Cat Demon, and the other living beings who had not left felt their hearts skip a beat. They could not help but retreat. A cold air rose from the soles of their feet. The other living beings did not hesitate and turned to leave. This broken sword was indeed of a high grade, but it was not something they could touch. Staying here would only be a waste of time. However, before they left, they glanced in the direction of Yang Wu and Cat Demon, and a cold glint flashed across their eyes. Cat Demon did not hesitate and quickly turned to leave. Once again, Yang Wu was the only one left. Should I take it or not? Yang Wu thought to himself. Soon, Yang Wu made a decision. Since I've met you, you're mine. He did not barge in directly. Instead, he sat down cross-legged and opened his soul eye to look at the divine chains. He hoped to comprehend the laws of the divine chains here again and break through the obstacles here to take the broken sword. Yang Wu's soul eye found that the divine chains here were broken. There were not many complete laws. After looking at it for a while, he did not gain anything like before. However, he found that there was another world under the divine chains. There seemed to be something there that gave off an extremely mysterious aura. Yang Wu was silent for a while. Then, he walked towards the power of the divine chains. These divine chains were broken. As long as he was careful and used the power of magnetism to interfere, he could avoid being killed by the power of the divine chains. He already had the experience of entering the divine chains twice. He was not afraid of the power of the divine chains. The power of the intermittent divine chains surged violently. They carried a terrifying power. Whoever came into contact with them would be unlucky. Yang Wu had his soul eye. He continuously dodged these divine chains and sank down. The divine power below was extremely dense. However, Yang Wu did not dare to absorb it. He was afraid that he would cause a disturbance. If that happened, he would die without a grave. After sinking for about 3,000 feet, he finally reached the bottom. The God Palace is also a part of the human body. I wonder which part of the God Palace I've entered will be. Yang Wu muttered to himself. He continued to look around. Finally, he found a blue essence stone. It was like the light of the moon. It was very pure and dazzling. Yang Wu felt that this light was not harmful. Instead, it attracted him deeply. It was calling for him to absorb and refine it. The immortal peach tree also sensed it. Moon essence stone. I want it. Yang Wu swallowed his saliva and asked, "This is the moon essence stone?" "That's right. Master, hurry up and bring it over," the immortal peach tree said with certainty. The moon essence stone was a divine stone that could only be born from the moon. It was a true divine stone. Its value was not to be underestimated. The moon essence stone in front of him was not a small one. According to the ancient city hall's list, it was worth 300,000 divine contribution points. If Yang Wu obtained this moon essence stone, it would be worth more than all of his previous gains. It might even be worth more. Yang Wu kept dodging the power of the divine chains. He moved closer to the moon essence stone. His heart was beating wildly. He thought to himself, I must get it. I must get it. Just as he was about to reach the moon essence stone, several divine chains surged toward him. This was an unstable power. It was constantly changing. It was not something that the soul eye could capture. Yang Wu's hair stood on end. He dodged and retracted his body. He was lucky enough to escape the encirclement of these divine chains. These divine chains seemed to have the willpower to protect the moon essence stone. They turned into waves and rushed toward him. It's over. Yang Wu was scared out of his wits. He could not escape from the divine chains. Even though he was wearing divine armor, he felt that he would be destroyed by the divine chains' power. At the critical moment, the divine chains in his dantian shook. The power of the divine chains appeared on his body. A resonance was produced, and it forced the divine chains to settle down. Yang Wu let out a long breath. It's too scary. After he calmed himself down, he planned to leave. No matter how precious the moon essence stone was, it would not matter to him if he did not have his life to take it. Master, don't be afraid. I can absorb this power. Go and take the moon essence stone. The immortal peach tree's voice sounded again. Stop messing around. I am not tired of living. Yang Wu refused. It's true. You must believe me. This is only a low-level divine power. I can easily absorb it, the immortal peach tree said confidently. Before Yang Wu could refuse, the power of the divine chains surged toward him again. Yang Wu almost fainted. When the power of these divine chains landed on his body, an invisible force directly absorbed them. It was the immortal peach tree's doing. Do you see? This low-level divine power is not very useful to me. I am too lazy to absorb it, but for the moon essence stone I will make do with it. The immortal peach tree said proudly. It increased the power of its absorption. Chapter 1373. The immortal immortality peach tree was an immortal tree, and it could absorb any energy. Although these divine chains had been infused with the laws of the Nine Suns realm true God, they were nothing to the immortal tree. The immortal tree could imprint the immortal Tao, and these divine chains did not belong to the immortal Tao. After the immortal immortality peach tree absorbed all of the divine chain's energy, Yang Wu was forced to absorb some of it as well. The Supreme Nine Mysteries mantra circulated wildly, and he absorbed a lot of divine energy. The energy in his dantian surged wildly, and his cultivation level rose steadily. He felt as if his body was a filter, and he absorbed all of the remaining energy. The immortal immortality peach tree absorbed all of the remaining energy. Yang Wu's cultivation level had reached the 2nd level of the celestial rune realm. If he had not reached the 7th level of the celestial rune realm, he would have panicked. This energy was not cultivated by oneself, and it often had hidden dangers. It could explode at any time. Even if it did not explode, it would not benefit him much. It was more reliable to rely on one's own cultivation. That's enough. I don't want to absorb any more of this energy. Yang Wu anxiously said to the immortal immortality peach tree. Don't worry. This is all divine energy. It is useless to me, but it is a great supplement for you. The immortal immortality peach tree said. Don't. We humans are different from you. We still need to comprehend the energy. We need to raise our cultivation level step by step. Yang Wu replied. All right. You can take the moon essence stone now. The immortal immortality peach tree did not force him. The divine chain's energy in this place had become extremely weak. Yang Wu could easily come before the moon essence stone and take it. Yang Wu was not in a hurry to do so. Instead, he looked at it carefully. He wanted to see what the moon essence stone looked like. It was a sparkling and translucent stone. It was like amber, and it gave off a dazzling light. There were many small patterns on the crystal. These patterns seemed to have been imprinted by the divine chains. The crystal contained an endless amount of energy, and it was extremely tempting. What a mysterious essence stone! Yang Wu sighed. Then he said, could it be that the divine palace needs a rare power to be built, and this moon essence stone is the divine object used to build the divine camp? Yang Wu did not know much about condensing a divine palace. Dongfang Chen and Yu Go had never mentioned it to him, and there was no such knowledge in his inherited memories, so he could only guess. He put it away. It was also at this moment that the power of the divine chains began to dissipate. Now, Yang Wu was even more certain that the god barracks were built with rare materials. Otherwise, how could it be called a palace? The power of the divine chains had dissipated, which meant that he could approach the broken sword now. Yang Wu's eyes began to burn. He slowly walked towards the broken sword. Master, give me the moon essence stone. Why should I give it to you? I need it. This is what I obtained, so it naturally belongs to me. Master, is this really all right? I've already called you Master, so there's nothing wrong with it. As they spoke, Yang Wu was already 300 meters away from the broken sword. He did not dare to approach it. The power of the sword qi was too strong, and he was not confident that he could put it away. Not long ago, the scene of the foreign race being cut in half was still vivid in his mind. Yang Wu went to put away the valuable items on the foreign race being's body first, then he thought about how to take the broken sword. The broken sword contains not only sword qi, but also sword Tao, which is also the power of God's law. If I don't comprehend it, I can't take it away. Yang Wu thought to himself. His soul eye stared at the sword qi, trying to comprehend the sword Tao. His soul eye stared at the sharp sword qi, and he felt his eyes hurt. This was the power of sword Tao that could threaten the soul. Yang Wu felt the stinging pain, but he did not retract his soul eye. He stared at it, and his soul tried to comprehend the changes in the power. Unknowingly, he saw streaks of sword light flickering. The terrifying sword light could split the heaven and earth, and the sword could destroy the sky. Its power was extremely shocking. Yang Wu felt that his soul eye was being slashed by the sword qi again and again, and his soul eye was on the verge of bursting. Persevere for a while more and restore it for me. Yang Wu gritted his teeth and persevered. He used his soul art to continuously replenish his soul power, and the power of his immortal foundation was nourishing him, which wiped away the damage to his soul eye. He continued to look at the sword qi, but he was unable to comprehend the sword Tao. It was too profound, and his cultivation level was too low. It was not something that he could learn just by looking at it once. However, he made a big discovery. There was a flaw in the sword qi, and he might be able to use it to get closer. I already have 2 divine weapons, and their grades are definitely not low. Do I have to risk my life for this broken sword? Yang Wu asked in his heart. His thoughts of snatching the broken sword wavered, and he quickly turned to leave. No matter how good the broken sword was, it was not something that he could touch now. In the face of a divine object that was within his reach, he was willing to give it up. His state of mind had undoubtedly improved by a lot. Yang Wu passed through this place and arrived in front of the 9th palace. There were not many palaces left here. After Yang Wu searched around, he only managed to find a few things, which did not give him too much of a surprise. When he went to the 10th palace, he saw the power of the divine chains blocking the way, so he decisively left. There was not only one divine chain power here, there was another terrifying divine chain power intertwining. It was as if 2 true God realm experts were fighting, and living beings that had not reached a certain level of cultivation would definitely die if they entered. Even though the immortal immortality peach tree said that it could absorb the power of the divine chains, he still felt that it was not very reliable. Just now, when it absorbed the power of the divine chains, it was burping. It was still too small, and it could not absorb too much power. In the end, Yang Wu still threw the moon essence stone to it. It was not very useful for him to keep it, and its greatest value was to exchange it for divine contribution points. After weighing the pros and cons, he decided to give it to the immortal immortality peach tree. When it grew up, it would be of great help to him. Yang Wu quickly left the Peace Temple. He had gained quite a lot from this trip, especially the 4th palace. Even though it was just some female accessories, every single one of them was of high quality and had many uses. Yang Wu rushed to the Peace Temple and found that there were 4 foreign beings waiting for him. Other than that, he also saw that the cat demon had been beaten black and blue, and it was tied up tightly with a rope. Hello, everyone. Yang Wu saw that they were not looking at him in a friendly manner, so he smiled and greeted them calmly. Hee hee, you human, you have some guts. You dare to greet us? Shouldn't you run away as soon as possible? A foreign being with a horn on his head and armor laughed coldly. Beside him, a female foreign being shook her body and laughed. If he is not overconfident, then he is an idiot. This foreign being had a human body, but it had the head of a mantis. Its body was covered in green spots, and it did not fit the aesthetic standards of humans. Yang Wu took the initiative to walk toward them. He smiled and asked, "Are you guys going to rob me?" The four outsiders were stunned for a moment. They didn't expect Yang Wu to be so bold. Not only did he not run away, he even walked towards them and asked the question that was on their minds. Could it be that this human kid was really strong? "We are not going to rob you. We are going to kill you," one of the foreign beings with a square face shouted. He reached out his four arms and attacked Yang Wu. At the same time, another foreign being beside him moved as well, quickly stabbed out with a fork. The other two foreign beings also unleashed their god-class powers. They wanted to take down Yang Wu together. These four foreign beings used their full strength. They did not underestimate their enemy and did not give Yang Wu a chance to defeat them one by one. "You guys really want to rob me? Then don't blame me for being impolite." Yang Wu laughed. Blue light flashed as he slapped out with his palms. Tsunami palm. Boundless waves moved with the wind. The power of the waves rushed out in all directions. The destructive power was quite shocking. Bang! Bang! The attacks of the four non-humankind creatures were directly shattered by the power of Yang Wu's palms. Before Yang Wu entered the Star Rune realm, he could fight against a half-step god-class creature. His power was comparable to an ordinary god-class creature. Now that he had entered the second level of the Star Rune realm, the power in his body was boundless. He could also absorb the power of the void around him. His battle power had increased by a lot. It was comparable to when he was at his peak or even stronger. The four non-humankind beings were knocked back by Yang Wu with a single strike, and their faces were all filled with shock. They had calculated Yang Wu's battle power. He should be slightly stronger than any of them. They thought that they could definitely take down Yang Wu if they joined forces. Now they realized that they had overestimated their own power and underestimated Yang Wu's power. Before they realized what happened, Yang Wu flashed across the air and landed beside the square-faced non-humankind being, then launched another palm strike towards his face. "Your face is too ugly. Let me do some plastic surgery for you," Yang Wu shouted. The foreign being only felt a wave crashing down on him. He did not even have the chance to react before he was drowned by the wave. Bang! The terrifying palm power exploded the foreign being's head. The other foreign beings took the opportunity to attack again. Single horn extinguishing light. Divine trident picking corp. Soul-piercing screams. The foreign being with a horn shot out an immeasurable amount of light. It carried the power of destruction and landed in front of Yang Wu in the blink of an eye. The foreign being with a trident used his ultimate move. A huge trident shadow pierced out. It was as though it was going to pierce through the heavens and earth. The female foreign being let out an incomparably sharp roar. It was very different from a lion's roar. Every roar was like a sharp blade that cut into one's soul, tearing it into pieces. These foreign beings all had powerful battle power. It was no wonder that the cat demon was captured by them. "If this is all you have, you can go and meet the King of Hell," Yang Wu bellowed. Two doppelgangers appeared and charged towards the three foreign race beings at the same time. Black tortoise doppelgangers.